Good morning, everyone. Can y'all hear me? Because last minute my headphones disconnected, reconnected. I just want to make sure everybody can hear me properly. So I'm hoping you guys can hear me and it's not just no audio. 1 second. I'm just going to check the audio. Okay, yeah, it looks like it's working. Perfect. Okay, wonderful. So welcome to Twisted Tragedy, where we follow all the twists and turns wherever they lead. I am your host, Elise, and we got a lot to go over. There were a bunch of motions. Some we went over yesterday. I know a bunch of people have already hopped in over with Kevin, but I do my own thing over here. So hopefully people can hop back and forth or however they choose to do it. But we are here. A little late, but we are here. I have my little to put on the bus in the morning, so it's a little hard for me to do 8:30 like some of the other creators. So I know, doing it late means that lots of people are already watching someone else, but it is what it is. We have our main crew of amazingly smart people, and that's all that matters. Hey, Trisha, let's pray. Let's pray. So I did hear a little tidbit over on Kevin's channel that I'm quite concerned about. And I texted Ashley this morning because I knew I was going to be live and it was going to be hard for me to make this phone call. But apparently someone over on Kevin's channel, one of his viewers, was talking to him yesterday, works in the Canton school system and is a teacher, and overheard the other teachers talking. One of them, was called for jury duty. And they were talking about how that person needs to get on the jury to acquit Karen. Now, I do not know the school. I do not know the name of the person. The screen name pops up, obviously. But that poor person said, she kept her mouth shut. Her kid is on the hockey team. And, I get it. I totally get it. But it does need to be reported. Thank you, Leah. So I don't have any more info, Ash. I'm sorry. That's all I got. That's all I got. The best I can do is it's a Canton teacher in the Canton school districts. But they can keep a closer eye on anybody how many Canton school teachers would they have called? You know what I mean? It's probably only a few, if any. I'm guessing they'll be able to figure out who it is, but that's a huge problem. They're already trying to get on the jury, of course. Tom CPU apparently has already been yelled at. Yeah, yelled at by the cops. He's flipping out because he doesn't like the new buffer zone. I love the new buffer zone. I think it should have been further, but still love it. Hey, Otter. So yeah, that definitely needs to be reported. So if anybody, or any someone's, more than one someone's, want to call over to the Dedham Superior Court, because I clearly cannot do it while I'm here with you all. And please let them know, because that is a huge problem. Okay. Something like that needs to be reported to the court. We want impartial jurors who can look at the evidence. We don't want fixed already jurors who have no idea what they're talking about. Then they just want to have, her acquitted. So they just want you on the jury. So I'm sorry, I'm getting so many messages, because of all the motions. Thank you, Ashley. You are the best, my friend. You can also thank Ashley a huge amount for YouTube Premium. So no more commercials when we're doing hearings, y'all. No more freaking commercials. And we can all thank Ashley for that, for her contribution to the channel is YouTube Premium, which I will take any day. Thank you, Ashley, so much, because that is going to be a huge benefit throughout this trial for all of us. No freaking commercials. Yay. Also, please, because I didn't start with all of this. Usually I start with the whole spiel of, like, subscribe, do that fun stuff. But because I thought that was really important to sort of get out right away, I skipped that. So please make sure that you do hit the like button on the video. I would very, very much appreciate it. If you can subscribe, if you already haven't, share the video with other people who, don't know we are here. I know a lot of people who are watch Kevin, or a lot of people who are on the Facebook page. Some of them just starting to get some of them now. starting to get some of them now. Like I just didn't even know. Some people don't even know we're over here, which is like, I'm like, what, dude? We've been here since 2023. I know I took a break, and that's kind of the problem is, I took the 6-month break. I had everything going on with my kid's health, and she still has, by the way. Thankfully, the surgery yesterday went well with her hand, the other hand. So she's recuperating and a little bit sore. She's in a little bit of pain, but the surgery went well. So now on to the next thing, because we're not leaving the hospital anytime soon, the doctor said. So now we're on to the next thing. So I'm super happy that everything went perfectly for the surgery. She can't be intubated, so that's half of the problem. My daughter's bones are fused because of her disease. So essentially, how all of us can look left, right, up, down. She cannot. Her head is stuck in this position, and she cannot move it. She can move a little to the left, a little to the right, but she cannot go up. Her bones in her neck have fused to her spine, and so they can't intubate her because she can't lay all the way backwards. So what they do is called twilight, where you're like half awake while they're doing these surgeries, which is scary, and it scares her. She doesn't like it, but it's the only option we have because she can't be intubated. So that's the problem they're trying to work out for the bone marrow transplant, is that because she would need to be intubated. So with that, let's move on. I just wanted to give everybody an update. She is a trooper. She is. That girl is listen, if you ever thought about complaining something a day in your life, and we all complain, we're all grown adults here, but we all complain, right? Something shitty happens, you want to complain about it, right? Even me, I still do it. But sometimes I find myself stopping myself and being like, I have to think about what I'm bitching about, because my kid's got a lot to bitch about, right? And she doesn't. She doesn't ever complain. And on the very rare occasions that she does, that it's serious, because she doesn't. She's got a high pain tolerance because she's in chronic pain every day, all day since she was a baby. So sometimes I stop myself to think about what I'm complaining about, because that kid will teach you something as a grown adult every day of your life. Like, I am extremely lucky to have such an amazing kid. That's for sure. Right? Complaining about complaining. So we had a bunch of motions. I know we went over some of them. I don't know. I'm keeping an eye on everything to see. Hold on. I'm not seeing anything yet about the court, which is weird. Like, I don't know if they're going to pop on, what they're going to do. I know it's jury selection. Usually we at least see something, but I don't even see anything waiting in Law and Crime or Court TV. It's the Linda Sturmer and the Dr. Turk trials. I don't see anything waiting on that one, on Law and Crime, and then Court TV. So it's like, I don't understand. Are they just not even giving us even a tiny bit of the beginning like they did last time? I'm totally confused. Court TV, the only upcoming thing they have is something that's already scheduled to air. So I don't know if anybody knows of something else. I don't know. I'm looking at everything right now, so I don't know. There's nothing that I'm seeing. I will keep an eye on it, but we can go. Oh, also, so the Profiling Evil channel. Okay, Mike here. I'm gonna show you this guy. I emailed him because I had gotten a bunch of emails from some of my viewers and a bunch of messages from people who are asking, like, hey, he did a great job on that video. Hold on. Let me get it up here. What's happening? I just had it on my damn screen. Okay. So this guy here, this guy, why is it not doing? So hold on.
fell onto the ground,
I know, I'm
where he
working on it.
ultimately died from exposure related to that collision and the cold. But the defense, they've got a completely different theory, and they're raising some troubling aspects of the case, aspects that deserve expert witness dialogue to describe and to really understand the cell phone data and what caused John O'Keefe's injuries. With the retrial schedule for April of 2025, the stakes are incredibly high, higher than they ever have been. And here are the 5 biggest things that I think you should watch for in the courtroom as this drama plays out. Number 1, the third-party culprit defense, because one of the most explosive elements of the defense's case.
So let's stop that right there. Speaking of third-party culprit. Speaking of third-party. So anyway, so before I start going over that, I emailed him to tell him, we all thought he did a great job. If he had any time to maybe pop on. And I got an email. It was a very nice email from him back. And let me get into it real quick so you guys can, because he wanted me to tell you all something. So I want to make sure that I relay exactly what he said to you all. It was super nice. It was a super nice message. And we really appreciate it. So he said, here it is. It says, "Hi, Elise. Thank you so much for your kind note and for the invitation to join you. I really appreciate your support of the Karen Read episode, and I'm grateful you took the time to reach out and share your perspective on the case. I'm just leaving Los Angeles after a week of filming for a new documentary and heading straight into a busy conference schedule in Vegas. Time is at a premium right now, but I'll make a point to learn more about the work you're doing and the conversations you're facilitating on your channel. While I won't be able to join you at this time, I'd be grateful if you'd pass along my thanks to your viewers for their kind remarks about profiling evil. It truly means a lot. Wishing you guys continued success in your efforts to raise awareness and advocate for those affected. Thanks again for the invitation, Mike." So I thought that was a really nice little email that he sent us. And if you haven't seen that episode of his, I think you should watch it. It's very well done and thought out and very evenly keeled. So, and that's how you're supposed to start figuring something out, right? From the very beginning. And sort of with an open mind. And I think he did that. He, criticized both sides for certain things, and he was very gracious. And hopefully I sent him an email back letting him know that if in the future he has any time, we will happily sort of work around his very busy schedule, as I assume, and that we appreciate his kind words as well. So that it was very nice of him, and I appreciate it, Mike. Thank you, Mike, so much. We appreciate you. They're important conversations to have, Like, I care less about how many viewers or followers someone has. Everybody knows. I don't care if you have 0 or 1 million or 10 million. You're always welcome on my channel on the panel if I'm doing a show with a panel, right? Like that, that are going to have constructive conversations, right? Because the ultimate goal here, especially when this trial is done, and I've already sort of started the wheels now, but is to talk to our lawmakers and change the way this works, right? Victims have to be protected more than they were in this case. Like, it just seems like Massachusetts is a very criminal-friendly state where they're not protecting the victims that need to be protected. And that's a problem. That is a huge, huge problem. I think there needs to be laws, and there's already laws for cyber stalking, but they're not being enforced. Like, that's a huge part of what I am trying to do. And I've done advocacy work with lawmakers. I've testified with lawmakers for years now on different, issues. And so, like, this isn't something new to me. This is not something new to what I've been doing for a really long time, long before this case existed. But I'm going to need everyone's help. There are certain parts of it that I'm going to need everyone's help. So that's very true, Ashley. That is very true. Ashley said she also emailed the Canton School District to make them aware of the teacher and that she's willing to do this. Then how trustworthy is she as an educator? It's a very good point. It's a very, very good point. But advocacy needs to be a huge part of this, because if we just allow this case to end, even with Karen spending the rest of her life in prison, and even with Aiden going to jail, what good does it do if someone else can do the same thing again and again and again? And how many more lives are we going to allow them to destroy or alter forever? I can tell you from experience with this case, I've never seen anything like this. And my life has been altered forever in ways that I could have never imagined. Like, you don't think covering a case that you're going to be relentlessly attacked with lies and BS because you accidentally stumbled upon information that you probably shouldn't have known about the one person putting out information to the world, and that he's a very dishonest human being to begin with. Like, as soon as he knew I knew, I became the main target, right, of him. So yeah, that's the other thing. It wasn't just that it was the teacher. It was that there were other teachers encouraging her to do it. Like, that's a problem. That's a huge problem. Like, oh my God, that would be amazing. That would be amazing if he got more time. I'm sorry, you guys. I have to take a bite. I did not have time to eat anything, even drink coffee. I'm starving. I'm so hungry. We have motions to go over. I have jury selection to keep an eye on to see if they're going to give us anything. I have a call at 11 o'clock pertaining to this case that is very important. And hold on, let me go back here. Let's see. Let me get out of that. Let me get out of that. Okay. Get this one off the screen. So we have motions, lots of motions that came in yesterday. Of course, one of the big ones being third-party culprit. That we went over my predictions. We went over it a million times what my prediction would be on the third-party culprit motion. But yesterday specifically, before it came out, we went over what I thought would happen with Judge Cannoni, because she's very, I know it is, even if it's not Folgers, and I don't have it. But even if it's not, hold on. I'm just like getting all sorts of random info here. It's going to be one of those days, you guys, where like all of a sudden I start getting texts about things. So just bear with me on that. But so I gave what I thought would happen, of course, right? And what did I say yesterday before this came out? Well, I said that I thought one of two things could happen. She could allow them to develop it, right? She could allow them to develop it, or with all of them, or what I thought was most likely was they would disallow Colin to be used as a third-party culprit because he was not even there when Karen and John arrived. And I don't know, as a judge, how you could allow them to even try to develop a third-party culprit with him when you know he was not there. And alas, literally right after I wasn't live anymore, we got the decision. And what was said decision? Well, y'all, it was that they can't use Colin as a third-party culprit because he was not there. That they're going to allow them to develop it with the Bryans, I guess, as we'll call them, because it's Brian and Brian. So Bryans, which I don't know how you could allow them to even develop it when we know, if you're going to argue that witnesses testified to Colin not being there, how do you not argue that witnesses testified to John never went in the house? So how could there be? So I just don't, sometimes this judge quite makes no sense, and others perfect sense. But in this case, I think she was trying to throw them a bone. Hey, you're not going to be able to use Colin because he wasn't there. But, here's two adults for you. Like, I still think it makes no sense. She should have slapped it down completely. But when someone, I can't remember which one of you amazing people told me that like third party culprit decision came, but we didn't have like the paperwork for it yet. And I was like, wait, the paperwork, like if it was approved, we wouldn't have paperwork. So that means it was denied, at least in part, which is what happened. It was denied in part. So, because if it's approved, the judge just writes approved. Like, right? Like, you don't need a whole spiel about why it's approved. I mean, you can, but like, you don't need it. Usually it's a denial, and the reason why it's denied, the cases you cite that are it's denied because of, like, all that happy crap. Hey, girl, hey. But, you know, like, so the third party culprit, they're not going to be allowed to use Colin. So there's some important parts in it, though, I think we should read. Hold on, let me get it up on the screen. Boop. Let me just refresh this. You know, if I had just put all the documents in my email, this would be a lot easier, but I did not have the time yesterday because the surgery and all that fun stuff. So I did not have time to like put them all in my email. So apparently Grant's reporting that there are formal buffer zone signs in place. There are fixed to street signs around the Norfolk Superior Court. And the Karen Reed fans have been pushed multiple blocks away from Reed's trial. Judge Cannoni is not yet on the bench for the first day of jury selection, and that was 12 minutes ago. I don't know if we're going to have to follow live tweets or what, you know? I don't know. Let's see. Okay. I think Christina Rex has it. I'm going to go to hers because Grant has a lot of like really long posts, you know, and Judge Cannoni ruled the defense cannot use Colin Albert as third party culprit. They can use Brian Albert and Brian Higgins. All right, let's see. Here we go. This on the screen. You guys here. Bear with me today, guys. Bear with me. Oh, yeah, he's totally getting that to try to be a thing. It's not a thing. Like, it's not a thing. I don't know if any of you read Aiden's blogs because, like, I don't. It's full of nonsense, and it's full of just baseless allegations and shit he made up in his very small mind. Me and Ted are in a fight, but I will actually go to Ted Daniels. Thank you, Francesca. And I also want to address something else that I saw. It was a couple days ago, but Bettero made this big stink. He cleaned out his YouTube, and he was like, I won't go on any channels that demand donations for questions. Like, that was his thing, right? He won't go on any channels that demand donations. And some people actually, even on that own side, had to be like, hey, Bettero, you, sir, yeah, you go on channels and it's their channel, right? Like, you're the guest and that's their job. It's like a client coming to you, you get paid. The client is there, right? And they have input, but you're the one getting paid, right? Samesies when you stream, dude. Okay. So he's literally whining like a bitch that, like, people, first of all, you don't have to pay to ask a question. Okay. I know a lot of creators will not read like stuff in regular chat unless it's in a super chat. Like, I've never done that here, even when I had regular monetization. Like, I've never done that. I will never do that. Like, not everybody can pay, and you shouldn't have to pay to make a comment or question that I highlight. That's just utterly ridiculous. I get it. It's a tactic to make more money. Once again, I guess integrity, like, it feels very it feels like it's tricking people, and I don't like that. So that's not how we operate over here. Never has been how we operate. I will read them whether anybody makes a donation or not. But what he was bitching about made no sense, because you don't have to donate on a channel. You can watch it for free. So I guess what he was saying is, like, there was a channel he was on that was saying, like, if you have a question, you put it in super chat. Like, Well, if you have, I don't have thousands at the moment, but if you have thousands of viewers and it's going by extremely fast, that's kind of a way for it to stick out. It's really hard to try when it's going that fast to try to get every comment. I mean, you do the best you can. You can slow it down and stop it at one point, but then you're getting really, really far behind. So whatever. But I think his whole, I'm not going to go on any channels that charge is kind of ridiculous because, sir, do you not charge for your work? It was almost as if what he was doing was selling a backdoor, like, oh, well, if you want me on your show, you're gonna have to pay me for my time, is what he was doing, sort of in a way, without like coming out and saying it. It was a dog whistle to say, well, if I'm gonna be on your show with my time and people want to hear my commentary, then you're gonna have to pay me. Like, bro, stop it. A content creator's job is exactly that, content creating. Okay. Your job is a lawyer. You get paid to do your job. Content creators should pay to get paid to do their job. Some of those people were like, I just never understood it, why the host gets paid if a guest is on. Because it's the host's show. It's their hard work, their time, their effort. Like, a guest can come and go in 10 minutes and be done. Why would they be the one that got paid? That doesn't make sense. Like, also, if we were good, like, humans, we would just help each other out and be guests on each other's shows to like help each other out. Like, it's, I mean, once again, I guess people just don't know how to be good human beings, but the statement from Christina Rex compared to Ted Daniels is interesting. Really? Yeah, Frank has actually 2 really good reviews from Mark Betterow that people wrote in 2021. One was 2021, I think, and one was 2017. And one of them called him Media Mark. And that client had a problem because all Betterow cared about was media. And this client did not agree with him on that. Like, he does sound like he, you guys, I'm so sad that I will not go on any more YouTube shows. None. I'm too busy writing my Dear John letters to the court. Your Honor, please read my letters to the court. They're very serious. They have no basis in reality, but I know if I put in motion, then I could be in trouble. So I'm just going to write Dear John letters for my friends who are churches here. I'm going to do that. And you're going to take them very seriously. It's so serious. It's very serious, my Dear John letters. Like, bro, stop writing letters to the court. Nobody gives a shit. A, they have no legal merit. B, they're filled with complete lies and just finger pointing and utter just disgusting disregard, okay, for actual law. Put it in a fucking motion, guy. Put it in a motion. He won't, because he knows that it has to have a good faith basis. It can't just be a way to rile up your mob. And at this point, I honestly think the court should stop him at this point, sanction him from even writing letters, because it serves no purpose other than to rile up a mob of people. You want to file something, you have to file motions. Like, it's that simple. Like, it is about money and media. And I get it. I understand it, dude. I understand, like, the point of having to make money. Okay. I totally understand it, dude. Everybody has to, like, you know, yesterday I had a crying baby, right? I had my niece. And so, like, you know, that those things are going to affect your monetary amount. I think I made $20 on yesterday's show, which immediately then went to like basic necessities. I needed toilet paper and paper towels. But there's like, for me, it's more like integrity. Like, do your show, mention that people can donate, and if they choose to, they choose to. I get all these little tactics of pulling in more money on shows. Like, I understand them. I just feel like some of them are very sneaky, very, like, they're tricking people. I don't like it. This whole ignoring people's comments so that like, it's like, just pop your stuff up on the bottom of the screen like this and say, okay, everybody who's just popping in, because you can see your numbers. When your numbers are going up and down, you can see how many people are coming in and going out. And when you see them going up, you can say, hey, anybody who just arrived, if you would like to, it would really help to donate to the show, because in my case, I don't have monetization. I'm still waiting for it to be turned back on because of the mob. So I don't get paid for per video or how many times it's viewed, or, which is next to nothing to begin with. Somebody else said that, like, on Betterow's thing, was like, oh, well, creators get paid per view. And I'm like, we get paid per 1,000 views. And it's usually something like 3 cents per 1,000 views if you're monetized. It's nothing. It's literally nothing. Like, and I'm not currently monetized, so I'm not getting paid a single thing for a view. Or any other. I don't have memberships right now. I can't do a super sticker or a super chat. Like, so the only way to contribute to the show and to the costs of doing this so that I can keep it running, so that I can be here for every day of trial. Like, that's going to be another thing. It's going to be a hard push because trial is every day, right? Monday through Friday, all day long. Thankfully, I don't usually go to the hospital until after my little gets off the bus from school when I go, but that's a lot of work every day. It's going to be, not an 8 to 4, like that's a full-time 8-hour job, right? And I streamed the last trial, and some days you might make nothing. It's a gamble. It is an absolute gamble. So, you do what you got to do. You do the best that you can to bring the best content you can to people, and the most truth, right? The best information that's true to people. And I just believe that the universe falls into place. The rest will come, like it will all fall into place once in a while. Like, I mean, remember back before I was, his suitorless target for knowing things I shouldn't have known, I was already close to 5,000 viewers. Like, I already had like almost 5,000 subs. And then when he attacked, it was like 2,000, 3,000 people that unsubbed because of him. So it's like, okay, I don't want those type of people anyway. If you're so easily led by lies and somebody telling you something that mind you, he knows nothing about me. Let's just make that abundantly clear. The man knows absolutely nothing about me. He's met me maybe 3 or 4 times at events. Other than that, that's pretty much it. So, but if you're that easily led and you're that easily convinced because he said so, then I don't want those kinds of viewers anyway. Like, so good riddance. I will start from scratch if I have to. Like, it is what it is. The monetary damage that was done to me and my family by him is immense. That's what lawsuits are for. And make no mistake when I say there are attorneys that I'm talking to that are, trying to figure out whether any of them can take it on contingency and take other clients as well as me to do it all together, because he should not be allowed to get away with hurting other people, especially with their income, and then steal from people, like it's that simple. The man is a scammer, a liar, a grifter. I mean, look at what he's doing right now. Speaking of Leah, like what she said earlier on the stream, where he like literally trying to say that Leah made a website. That never happened. Never happened. Never happened, you guys. So literally when I say like he does not check his information, he just puts it out there. He's literally trying to make fetch happen, guys. Like he's trying to make fetch happen, like literally right now. So he wrote this whole article about Leah and Hank that isn't even close to being true, not by a freaking long shot. And it's funny to me because they eat it up. They eat it up. They're like, oh my God, LG1 is conspiring with Hank Brennan. It's like, bro, are you guys really that dense? Like, are you that dense? Like, I'm friends with Leah. Let's just make that abundantly clear here. Okay. That's not a thing. Like, that's not a thing. That did not happen. Like, so I find it funny that anybody's like, oh, well, Turtle White said Leah Genduzo and Hank Brennan conspired. And no, bro, none of that happened. None of that happened. Also, if you knew Leah, you would know that, like, if you're not just like a troll, like she's pretty much an open book. Like she'll just like Lindsay, like if you're not like hostile person, like she would have told you, like, that didn't happen. Like, well, that's the other thing. He thinks that the story from 7 years ago is going to make him have new followers, like it's nobody gives a shit. Like, we get it, dude. You ruined her career over something that happened before she was ever a trooper that the state police were very well aware of. They used her as a scapegoat because you're a piece of shit. We get that. We understand it. It happened. Like, but then he continues on. It's like he cannot let go of anybody who knows who he is and the things that he has done. He just can't, whether it's Lindsay or Leah, like he just cannot let go. He cannot. He has to destroy. It's like he's in a game of fucking Battleship. I have sunk your battleship. Like, bro, Once again, go appeal to Captain Crunch, buddy. Nobody gives a shit. Like, nobody cares. No giant conspiracy between Leah and Hank. It's not a thing. Like, sorry, not sorry. Like, if that was a thing, we'd have a straight line to Hank. Like, shit, dude, I wish. Like, I fucking wish. Like, oh, he's definitely a little boy. A little tiny boy. A little man. That's half of his problem is he, you know, thinks he's much bigger than he is. And that's, you know, the issue here. And we're going to knock him down a few pegs because we are going to enforce laws that should have been enforced this entire time around cyber stalking and criminal harassment. Because I'm sorry, but he should have been charged, and so have some of his minions, with cyber stalking and harassment a very long time ago. The FBI needs to start doing their job. Okay, cyber stalking is a federal crime. Charge him. Charge him. It's live. Where? Court TV? Please say Court TV. No. Not Court TV. Where? God damn it. Where? Where? And we can always go back a little bit. It's not a huge deal, but where? I don't see anything. This is the problem, is they aren't telling us ahead of time where. I see nothing. Oh, wait. Right there. Boom. Hold on. Doesn't exactly seem to be live yet. War on crime. Okay, well, we'll halt that going over that motion. Thank you, Frank. It's 9:30. Why does the judge take so long? Yeah, let's go. I want to hear if she's going to say something. No, this is live.
Good morning, Your Honor. Hank running for the Commonwealth.
Hold on.
Good morning, Your Honor. Elizabeth Little, also on behalf of Ms. Reed. Ms. Little.
Morning, Your Honor. Robert Alessi on behalf of Ms. Reed.
Mr. Alessi.
Good morning, Judge. David United.
Mr. Reddy. Good morning, Mr. All right, so before we begin, Mr. Jackson, when we left the other day, when we were talking about Michael Easter, I gave you the opportunity to get some authority on expert testimony and voter defense. Were you able to do that?
We were.
Do you have something to file?
Yes, it was filed yesterday. I do have a courtesy copy for this one.
Okay.
And I can, if the court wishes, we
No,
can take that on.
that's,
That justifies.
I think so. I'll take a look at it.
It's got everything in it that I would say orally anyway, but if the court has any questions, I'm happy to answer the questions.
All right. Thank you. All right, so thank you. So similarly, regarding the third-party culprit argument the other day, Ms. Yanegi, I see you did file something late yesterday, so I got that. I'm just wondering if either the Commonwealth or the defendant want to be heard on that. The Commonwealth does. Okay. So,
Ooh.
okay, Mr. Chairman.
It is, Bree.
Your Honor asks for a proffer from the defense regarding third-party culprit. Alternatively, evidence that would be separate regarding third-party culprit aspect of Bowden. We received some information from the defense that does not distinguish whether their intention is that it applies to third-party culprit or whether it applies to a third-party culprit aspect of Bowden. Those concepts are logically and legally distinct. Regardless, when you look at the proffer by the defense, it is insufficient and inadequate for both third-party culprit and for any third-party culprit aspect of Bowden. Two different analyses, but the evidence is equally feeble for both. Relative to third-party culprit evidence, there are a number of cases that I know Your Honor is aware of that guide the standard of third-party culprit evidence. Not to iterate the law because it is clear, But there must be relevance, there must be a substantial nexus between the claims of the defense and the third-party culprit theory. They provided us 3 people that they identify as third-party culprits. It's helpful just for a quick synopsis of the history. In this case, prior to the first trial, the defense never identified a third-party culprit. At some point, the defendant herself said that they knew who the third-party culprit was, and recently, the position of the defense has shifted that they don't know and don't need to know. Now, the law accommodates specifically identifying somebody. It also accommodates general, but it has to have specificity in the complaint. There has to be a motive, an opportunity, and an intention. There has to be evidence that draws the correlation. It can't be bad character, speculative, or just putting out information that's negative towards a witness so that that can backdoor prior bad acts against a witness and be used for a different purpose. They identified one person, Colin Albert. And in their proffer, what they offer, number one, and it's important to take them separately because it shows how feeble it actually is. The first thing they say about Colin Albert is he had a feud with John O'Keefe in the weeks and months leading up to January 29, 2022. Now, other than maybe on social media or in interviews with the defendant and national broadcast, there's no evidence of that. There is no evidence that's going to be admitted at this trial that shows there was a feud between Colin Albert and John O'Keefe. There is no evidence that there was any hostility between Colin Albert and John O'Keefe. There's no evidence of a motive to kill John O'Keefe by Colin Albert. There is no evidence of any motive, of any intention, or of any opportunity whatsoever. In fact, the evidence is that Colin Albert was not even at 34 Fairview at the time John O'Keefe arrived there on January 29, 2022. And so simply saying it is not evidence. And an attorney should not be allowed to confront a witness about an allegation that has no factual basis for them to then have to defend the accusation. The prejudice then seeps to the jury, and the Commonwealth is in the position of having to disprove a claim that had no basis to begin with. The second claim that they make regarding Colin Albert is that he had thrown beer cans in Mr. O'Keefe's bushes and told Mr. O'Keefe to F off in his face. There is no basis for those claims. There is no witness for those claims. There's no information regarding those claims. I understand there may have been a party where there was beer cans, but there was no Colin Albert. So to attribute a situation or an incident to him, the defense would need some good faith proof, actual proof, fact, that this actually happened. Then there's no evidence whatsoever that Colin Albert threw beer cans in Mr. O'Keefe's bushes and told him to F off. And the reason there's no proof is because it didn't happen. So again, the defense asks for an invitation to simply cross-examine a witness, allege a prior bad act, and then the witness has to defend their honor and the government has to disprove it. That is not the cloth that third-party culprit is made from.
Brian Higgins from Sandwich.
Looks like that might have been the hearing from the other day, but we do have the regular one here. So, yeah, his body language speaks it all. Let me fast this up a little. Hold on. I can't. Be the argument about the attorney, maybe, possibly, that we can't hear. I think there's more than one keeper of the records, as far as I know. They could be called. Everybody on that list could be called, Maui. It's not that they are going to be called, it's that they could be. They're on the witness list. So it's essentially exactly what it is. The person that keeps the records, keeper of the records. Like, also, while we're waiting for whatever this is that they're doing at the moment, I want to thank Red Queen. I think it's Red Queen for the $10 donation. That's our first one for the day. It says, thanks for taking the time to inform. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. If anybody else wants to donate and help out the channel, it'd be very, very helpful. I would appreciate it if you can, of course. You can do it on Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal. The information's at the bottom of the screen. It also scrolls at the bottom of the screen throughout the entire show. But it's very little.
Turn off, slowly.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Please be seated. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think this will be fast, unfortunately. I think it'll take a while. For obvious reasons, you know. Oh, yeah, we can hear you. Damn it! He shut off the audio. I heard him say at the end, and he said we can benefit from.
Can the court please stand? Yea. All persons have any business before the Honorable Beverly Canoni, Justice of the Norfolk Superior Court, and for the County of Norfolk. Draw near, give your attendance, and you shall be heard. God save the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. This court is now open. You may be seated. Jurors remain standing. Everyone else may be seated.
I'm sorry, jurors, could I have you all raise your right hands, please? Do each of you solemnly swear to make true answers to such questions that should be put forth to you by the court to help you God? Thank you. You can have a seat now, I promise. May I call the case, Your Honor?
Yes.
Your Honor, this is 22-117, the Commonwealth versus Karen Reed.
Counsel.
You want counsel? You want me to say?
Counsel.
Can I have counsel identify themselves for the record, starting with the Commonwealth?
Good morning, Your Honor. Laura McLaughlin for the Commonwealth.
Good morning, Ms. McLaughlin.
I'm Lally for the Commonwealth. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Lally.
Good morning, Your Honor. Hank Brennan for the Commonwealth.
Good morning, Mr. Brennan.
Good morning, Your Honor. Alan Jackson on behalf of Karen Reed.
Good morning, Mr. Jackson.
Good morning, Your Honor. Elizabeth Little, also on behalf of Ms. Reed.
Good morning, Ms. Little.
Morning, Your Honor. Robert Alessi on behalf of Ms. Reed.
Good morning, Mr. Alessi.
Good morning, Your Honor. David Yannetti for Karen Reed.
Good morning, Mr. Yannetti.
Good morning, Your Honor. Victoria George on behalf of Ms. Reed.
Good morning, Ms. George. Good morning, Ms. Reed. Okay,
Karen Reed, can you please stand? Karen Reed, you are now set at the bar to be tried, and these good men and women who I shall call to pass between the Commonwealth and you upon your trial. If you'd object to anything, you must do so before they are sworn. You have a right to challenge any 16 jurors without giving reason. Thank you.
Okay, good morning, jurors. My name is Beverly Canoni. I'm a judge of this court, and I want to welcome you here today and give you some idea on what you will be asked to do. So, jury service, as you know, is one of the most important duties we have as citizens. We appreciate that you're here, ready, willing, and able to serve if you're called upon to do so, and our system of justice simply does not work without you, so we thank you. This is the case of Commonwealth versus Karen Reed. The Commonwealth alleges that at approximately 6 a.m. on the morning of January 29th, 2022, the Canton Police Department received a 911 call reporting an unresponsive male party in the snow outside a residence at 34 Fairview Road in that town. Officers responded and discovered the man, later identified as John O'Keefe, off the roadway in the front lawn area. Officers identified 3 women with Mr. O'Keefe, one of whom was the defendant, Karen Reed, the girlfriend of Mr. O'Keefe. The defendant had been with Mr. O'Keefe the previous evening at 2 different bars in Canton and had driven with him to this residence in the early morning hours of this date. Mr. O'Keefe was treated by paramedics from the Canton Fire Department and transported to the Good Samaritan Medical Center, where he was subsequently pronounced deceased. The Commonwealth alleges that the defendant struck Mr. O'Keefe with her vehicle earlier that morning and then left the scene while Mr. O'Keefe lay injured in the snow during a blizzard. The defendant denies these allegations. She is presumed to be innocent and has pled not guilty. So Ms. Reed is charged with second-degree murder. She is also charged with manslaughter while operating under the influence and with leaving the scene after causing personal injury or death. I will describe these indictments in detail at the end of the case when I teach you the law, but briefly, murder is the unlawful killing of a human being. There are various ways in which the Commonwealth can prove a murder case, and the Commonwealth is permitted to proceed under all theories it believes it can prove. Here, the Commonwealth alleges that the defendant committed murder and that the murder was murder in the second degree. In order to prove the defendant guilty of second-degree murder, the Commonwealth must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant committed an unlawful killing and that it was done with malice. In comparison, involuntary manslaughter is an unintentional, unlawful killing caused by wanton or reckless conduct. These terms and the elements of the crimes will be explained to you in greater detail at the end of the case before you begin your deliberations. Now, at the outset, I would like to address the issue of public interest in this case and the duty of this court to adhere to the rule of law. John Adams said that we are a government of laws, not of men, and that the law must be deaf to the clamoring of the public. He meant that while the public opinion about a given subject may ebb and flow, the law must be steady, reliable, and even-handed. We know that on the subject of this case, there are people advocating for one outcome or another with intensity, but without the benefit of having heard or seen any evidence at all. The law works in a different way, and the difference is crucial to our system of justice. The jurors selected for this trial will hear and judge the evidence. They will decide what the facts are, and where the evidence is contested, they will determine where the truth lies. Ultimately, the jury will decide whether the Commonwealth has carried its burden of proving that the defendant is guilty of any crime beyond a reasonable doubt. People outside of this building have rights, and we know that they have voices, but this criminal trial will be decided by an independent jury, free from outside interference, based only upon the evidence presented in this courtroom and the law. This is the only way to ensure that every person who comes before the court receives a fair trial. It is just that simple and that important. So, while public comment will likely continue, the rule of law will be upheld. In order to determine your eligibility to serve on this case, I'm going to ask you questions, all as a group, and then I'm going to ask you to fill out a supplemental questionnaire. We have found that the use of this questionnaire is helpful for several reasons. First, there are some personal questions on it, and we ask that you be candid. In addition, the process of filling out the questionnaire provides the opportunity to be more reflective as you answer the questions, rather than being put on the spot and asked to give immediate answers. After you fill out the questionnaire, we will have you come up to the sidebar one at a time so that we can follow up with you on your answers to the questionnaire and to my questions. I want to thank you in advance for your patience as we go through this process. As you may know, the lawyers for the parties participate in the selection of the jury. Under our law, each of the parties has the right to exercise what we call juror challenges. This means that each party has the right to challenge a certain number of prospective jurors for any reason or for no reason at all. Therefore, some of you may be excused during the impanelment procedure. If you are not selected for jury service on this case, you should not take it personally. Don't think that somehow you're not a fair person, because it's not a reflection on you at all. You will be directed back to the jury room and perhaps be picked for another case. In a few minutes, I'll pose a number of questions to you as a group. You have just taken an oath that requires you to truthfully answer these questions and all questions posed to you. If your answer to any question is yes, I will ask that you raise your hand and hold up your juror card in the air with the numbers facing out so that the court officer can read the number from the card. You don't have to get your cards out yet. I'll tell you when it's time to get your cards out. Now, the fact that you answer yes to one of my questions does not mean that you're automatically disqualified from jury service. It simply means that there are matters that counsel and I must discuss with you. If you find a question posed to the group overly intrusive, you may elect to answer the question at sidebar. I may have additional questions for you which relate to issues that may be raised in the trial and are designed to give us information regarding your ability to serve as a fair and impartial juror in this case. And the lawyers are permitted to ask you questions for the same reason. This is not a test. There is no right or wrong answer to any question. We're simply looking for your honest and best answers to the questions. Now I'm going to have the lawyers introduce themselves. We'll start with the Commonwealth, and when the defense introduces themselves, please introduce your client. Mr. Brennan,
Your Honor.
please.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Hank Brennan. I represent the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Along with me are two other attorneys I'd like to introduce you to. All the way to my right is attorney Laura McLaughlin.
Good morning.
And next to me is attorney Adam Lally.
Thank you. Defense counsel, please.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Alan Jackson. I have the privilege of representing Ms. Karen Reed, who is to my right.
Good morning, members of the jury. My name is Elizabeth Little, and I also have the privilege of representing you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. My name is Robert Alessi, and I also have the privilege of representing Ms. Reed.
Oh my God, even his name takes that
Good morning,
long.
ladies and gentlemen. My name is David Yannetti. I'm an attorney. I have an office in Boston. I also have an office in Dedham.
Nobody cares where your offices are.
To represent Karen Reed.
It's like him
Good morning,
announcing where
Jury.
they
My
can
name is
find him.
Victoria George, and I have the pleasure of representing Ms. Reed.
Good morning, Karen Reed. Thank you for being here.
All right, thank you very much. Folks, I'm going to read a very lengthy witness list to you. It's important that you listen to the names because at some point I'm going to ask you whether you know any of these folks. So when you hear it, please listen to it in those terms. Now, it does not mean that all 150 witnesses are going to be called at trial, but you'll hear their names if they're not called. You may hear their names during trial. So it's important that we know if you know these folks. The list is alphabetical, but it's alphabetical by first name. So Aidan Kearney from Jefferson, Mass. Dr. Aziz Wolf from South Miami, Florida. Alfredo Lopelato from Canton. Allison McCabe, also Canton. Andre Porto from the Massachusetts State Police Crime Lab. Andrew Klain from Bridgewater. Andrew Rentschler, PhD from Pittsburgh. Angela Malvone from Canton, Annie Chung from Canton, Anthony Flamati from the Canton Fire Department, Ashley Bell from Canton, Ashley Vellier from the Massachusetts State Police Crime Lab, Brian Albert from Norwood, Brian Albert Jr. from Boston, Brian Higgins from Sandwich, Brian Loughran from Canton, Brian Wanless, retired Canton Police Department, Bridget Meehan, keeper of the records in Canton, Caitlin Albert from Easton, Charles Ray, a lieutenant with the Canton Police Department, Chief of Police of Canton, Helena Rafferty, Chris Van E., PhD from Novi, Michigan, Christina Hanley from the Massachusetts State Police, Christopher Albert, Canton, Christopher Curran, Canton, Colleen Crawford from the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office in Canton, Colin Albert from Canton, Courtney Proctor from Canton, Kurt Roberts from Canton, Daniel Whitley from the Canton Fire Department. Daniel Wolf, PhD, from Penns Park, Pennsylvania. Derek Ellington from Wake Forest, North Carolina. Dr. Marie Russell from Los Angeles. Dr. Elizabeth Loposada from Providence. Elizabeth Proctor from Canton. Eric Hanlon, Canton. Erin Beatty, Canton. Erin O'Keefe, West Bridgewater. Francis Walsh from the Canton Fire Department. Darren Wing from Green Cove Springs, Florida. Gary Fowler from Brockton. Gregory Woodbury from the Canton Fire Department. Gretchen Voss, Boston, Mass. Hannah Knowles from the Massachusetts State Police Crime Lab. Heather Maxon from Walpole. Arabito Hernandez from the Boston Police Department. Holly Price from Mountain View, California. Ian Whiffen from Vienna, Virginia. Dr. Irene Scortibello from the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner in Massachusetts. James Crosby, PhD, from Jacksonville, Florida. Jason Becker from the Canton Fire Department. Jean DeMulis from Canton. Jennifer McCabe, also Canton. Jessica Hyde from Bridgeport, New York. John O'Keefe Sr. from Braintree. Judson Welcher, PhD, from a company called Aperture, LLC. Julie Albert from Canton. Julie Nagel from Canton. Dr. Justin Rice from South Weymouth. There's a juvenile whose initials are KF from Canton, and there's another juvenile whose initials are PF, also from Canton. Caitlin Boudreau from Raynham. Karina Kolakithis from Canton. Katie Camerano, also Canton. Katie McLaughlin from the Canton Fire Department. Keeper of the records for Ring from Hawthorne, California. Kerry Curran from Canton. Kerry Roberts, Canton. Kevin Albert, Canton. Kevin O'Hara from the Massachusetts State Police. Lance Mello from the Massachusetts State Police Crime Lab. Laura Sullivan from Pembroke. Laurie Cahill from Worcester. Leslie Pearlstein from Canton. Lieutenant Michael Lank from the Canton Police Department. Louis Jutras from Canton. Lieutenant Brian Tully from the Mass State Police. Lieutenant John Fanning from the Mass State Police. Lieutenant Paul Gallagher from the Canton Police. Maggie Gaffney from Bonita Springs, Florida. Mark Lopolato, from Canton. Margaret O'Keefe from Canton. Marietta Sullivan from Pembroke. Mary Souza, Dighton. Matthew Amory from Canton. Matthew DeSogra from Charlotte, North Carolina. Matthew Erickson from Grosse Pointe Farms, Michigan. Matthew Kelly, Canton Fire Department. Matthew Kelsch, the Federal Bureau of Investigations. Matthew McCabe from Canton. Maureen Harnett from the Mass State Police Crime Lab. Megan Mariani from New York, New York. Michael Camerano from Canton. Michael Easter from Los Angeles, California. Michael Trotta, Canton Public Works Department. Michael Wagner from Foxborough. Mike Maroli from Bridgewater. Mike Rushworth from Thompson Station, Tennessee. Natalie Wyweek Berschneider from San Marino, California. Nathan Reed from Raynham. Nicholas Bradford from Lorton, Virginia. Nicholas Curran from West Roxbury. Nicholas Kolakithis from Canton. Nicole Albert from Norwood. Norfolk County District Attorney Michael Morrissey. Officer Kelly Deaver from the Boston Police Department. Officer Nicholas Barrows from the Dighton Police Department. Patrick Haggerty from Somerset. Paul Mikowski from Melrose. Paul O'Keefe from Canton. Rebecca Bison from Canton. Rebecca Treyers from Norfolk, Mass. Dr. Renee Stonebridge from the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner's Office in Boston. Richard Green from St. Beach, Florida. Richard Donatino from Canton. Robert Gilman from Hull. Ryan Nagel from Canton. Sarah Levinson from Canton. Sergeant Brian Gallerini from the Needham Police Department. Sergeant Sean Good from the Canton Police Department. Sergeant Paul Giampietro from the Canton Police Department. Sergeant Yuri Buchanan from Massachusetts State Police. Shannon Burgess from Southlake, Texas, Cheryl Waugh from Canton, Sophie Herzan from the Mass State Police Crime Lab, Stephanie Devlin from the Mass State Police Crime Lab, Stephen Mullaney from the Canton Police Department, Steve Nelson from the Norfolk DA's office, Steve Bernstein, who is a keeper of the records in Stoughton, Stephen Ridge from the Boston Police Department, Stephen Saraf from the Canton Police Department, Stephen Scanlon from West Roxbury, Terry Kuhn from Davis, California, Tess Chart from Lorton, Virginia, Thomas Beatty, Canton, Thomas Kelleher, Canton, Thomas Martin, Weymouth, Timothy Nuttall from the Canton Fire Department, Tristan Morris from Easton, Trooper Connor Key for the Mass State Police, also from the Mass State Police, Trooper David DeChico, Trooper Evan Brent, Trooper Jeffrey Kostowski, Trooper Joseph Paul, Trooper Kathleen Prince, Trooper Michael Proctor, Trooper Nicholas Garino, Trooper Zachary Clark, Wendell Robery from Canton, William Reed from North Dayton. That's the list of witnesses, folks. So in a while, I'm going to ask you all if you know any of those folks. So as you can imagine, this case is expected to take a while. The lawyers tell me that once we get a jury, which may also take a while, once we get a jury, that it's estimated that the evidence in this case should take 6 to 8 weeks. We do our best to let you know in advance what we anticipate the length of trial will be. When we start the trial, we will go full days so that we can expedite the trial. The dates that I'm giving you, the 6 to 8 weeks, is the far end of what we expect this to be, just for planning purposes. So the days will begin at 9 o'clock. We'll take a recess at about 11 for 15 or 20 minutes. We'll go until 1. Lunch will be brought into you. We'll start up sometime around 2 and go till 4 o'clock or 4:30 every day. And there'll be days off here and there throughout the schedule, and perhaps half days throughout the schedule. So that's the schedule that we intend to keep. Now, it might help you if I give you a preview right now about some basic law that applies to criminal cases like this. It's my job to teach the jury the law, and I don't do that completely until the end of the trial. So for now, I'll give you a very brief summary of some of the legal principles that govern the trial. First, and most basically, the defendant starts this trial presumed to be innocent. The fact that she was arrested or that she was indicted is not proof of anything. An indictment is just a piece of paper. It just makes an accusation. An indictment is merely a formal manner of accusing a person of a crime in order to bring her to trial in the superior court. But it is only the jury, in other words, you folks, who can decide whether the prosecution has proved its case beyond a reasonable doubt. If the Commonwealth does not do that, then the presumption of innocence requires you to find the defendant not guilty. The law does not require a defendant to prove her innocence, to produce any evidence whatsoever, or to do anything other than attend the trial. This presumption of innocence remains with the defendant until you, the jury, make your determination after listening and considering all the evidence. Another important principle of law is that the defendant has an absolute right not to testify, since the entire burden of proof in this case is on the Commonwealth to prove that she is guilty. Under our system of law, a defendant has a perfect right to say to the Commonwealth, "You accuse me, now you prove it, and prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. I do not have to say a word." A defendant's decision whether or not to testify has nothing to do with the question of whether she is guilty or not guilty. The jury must not consider it in any way or even discuss it in their deliberations. Jurors in a criminal case must determine whether the Commonwealth has proved its case against the defendant beyond a reasonable doubt based solely on the testimony of the witnesses and the exhibits. That brings me to the requirement of proof beyond a reasonable doubt. What is proof beyond a reasonable doubt? The term is often used and probably pretty well understood, though it is not easily defined. Proof beyond a reasonable doubt does not mean proof beyond all possible doubt. For everything in the lives of human beings is open to some possible or imaginary doubt. A charge is proved beyond a reasonable doubt if After you have compared and considered all the evidence, you have in your minds an abiding conviction to a moral certainty that the charge is true. When we refer to moral certainty, we mean the highest degree of certainty possible in matters relating to human affairs based solely on the evidence that has been put before the jury in this case. I have told you that every person is presumed to be innocent unless and until he or she is proved guilty, and that the burden of proof is on the Commonwealth. If you evaluate all the evidence and you still have a reasonable doubt remaining, the defendant is entitled to the benefit of that doubt and must be acquitted. It is not enough for the Commonwealth to establish a probability, even a strong probability, that the defendant is more likely to be guilty than not guilty. That is not enough. Instead, the evidence must convince you of the defendant's guilt to a reasonable and moral certainty, a certainty that convinces your understanding and satisfies your reason and judgment as jurors who are sworn to act conscientiously on the evidence. This is what we mean by proof beyond a reasonable doubt. A juror's job is to find the facts. In determining the facts, you may draw reasonable inferences from the evidence that you believe because you're entitled to rely upon both direct and circumstantial evidence. I'll define those terms in greater detail later, but direct evidence essentially is evidence of what a witness claims to have seen or heard or touched or somehow perceived with his or her own senses. Circumstantial evidence exists where a witness does not testify directly to the fact that is sought to be proven, but you are provided with evidence of other facts and then asked to draw reasonable inferences from them about the fact that is sought to be proved. Jurors are entitled to consider both kinds of evidence. There is no difference at all in the probative value between direct and circumstantial evidence. Circumstantial evidence is competent to establish guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, I've used the word inference. An inference is a logical deduction or conclusion that you may, but are not required to draw from evidence that you have accepted as believable. Inferences are little steps in reasoning, steps in which you take some known information, apply your experience in life to it, and then draw a conclusion. An inference drawn from circumstantial evidence need not be necessary or inescapable, but any inference which you do draw must be reasonable and possible. It must be logical. It must be a natural one which is not too remote in the ordinary course of events. You may not guess. You may not speculate or engage in surmise. When the evidence tends equally to give rise to either of two inconsistent propositions, the Commonwealth has established neither proposition. In order to convict the defendant, you must find that all of the evidence and the reasonable inferences that you have drawn, taken together, prove that she is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, our system of justice depends on judges like me and jurors like you being able and willing to make careful and fair decisions. All people deserve fair and equal treatment in our system of justice, regardless of their race, national origin, religion, age, ability, gender, sexual orientation, education, income level, or any other personal characteristic. You have agreed to be fair, and I'm sure that you want to be fair, but that is not always easy. One difficulty comes from our own built-in expectations and assumptions. They exist even if we are not aware of them, and even if we believe we do not have them. Some of you may have heard this called implicit bias, and that is what I'm talking about. We judges have the same problem, obviously, as everyone else, so let me share a few strategies that we have found useful. First, slow down. Do not rush to a decision. Hasty decisions are more likely to reflect stereotypes or hidden biases. Second, keep an open mind. Avoid drawing conclusions until the end of the case when you and your fellow jurors deliberate. Remember that when you deliberate, you will have all the evidence and all the time you need to make a careful decision. So there truly is no need to stop making up your mind before then. Third, you should listen closely to all the witnesses. That is the best way to ensure that you decide this case based on the evidence and the law instead of on unsupported assumptions. Fourth, as you listen to the testimony about the people involved in this case, consider them as individuals rather than as members of a particular group. Finally, I might ask myself, would I view the evidence differently if the people were from different groups, such as different racial, ethnic, or gender identity groups? At the end of the case, I will remind you of these strategies and ask you to focus on the evidence instead of any unsupported assumptions you may have. All we ask is that you individually and as a group do your best to resolve this case based upon the evidence and law without sympathy, bias, or prejudice, to the best of your ability as human beings. Now, I know that some of this may be confusing, and perhaps all of it's confusing at this early stage of the case. You'll certainly be in a better position to understand this at the end of the case when you've heard all the evidence and I can explain the law in detail. So don't be worried if you didn't catch everything I've said. Why am I telling you these things now? Because we need to know if you are able to follow the law in this case. You don't necessarily have to agree with the law, but all the jurors will have to apply the law as I describe it. So for jury selection, it's important to know if any of you might have doubts whether you can accept and follow these legal rules. So I'm going to ask you questions in a few minutes. So if your answer is yes to any of my questions, please raise your hand. Before we begin, though, I understand that sometimes jurors do not fill out the juror questionnaires completely, that sometimes we are in a rush to send them in, or sometimes we don't think that our situation applies to the question that is asked. If the lawyers and I notice that the questionnaire appears to be incomplete, we may ask you to answer the question for us. Also, if you know now that you failed to include information on the questionnaire, for example, a work history, prior involvement with the court, whether as a party in a case, a witness, or a juror, please let us know. So while you're taking out your cards, I will see counsel and Chief Rosen, juror number 79 too, and counsel at sidebar, please.
She said sidebar. I heard the word sidebar. I heard the word sidebar. I heard it, y'all. Sidebar.
I think we got a super chat. I think we got a super chat.
I can't. I literally can't. So that yeah, that's salad bar. That's sidebar. That's sidebar. I don't know. I think they want 79 to answer a question. There must be a question, or there was somebody we reported this morning. If you're just popping in now, there's a teacher in Canton who was picked to do jury duty and was talking with other teachers about, the other teachers were saying like, oh, you need to get on that jury to acquit Karen. And so we reported that juror this morning to the court. So could be that, or it could be just that they didn't answer a question, or whatever question that they answered, they want more clarification on it, sidebar. Either way, we'll take the super chat sidebar dance. That'll be for the first donation we got of the stream. Well, the only one so far, but from Red Queen. That's we play that for you, and we always play it for Leah because she loves it. And that's free Karen Reed, y'all. That is free Karen Reed, y'all. So that's what you get with these people, unfortunately. I find it funny, though. I'm writing notes. I kid you guys not, because I'm very old school when it comes to things and things I want to talk about later and things I want. Like, so I write notes. And like from the last trial, I have like 4 full notebooks from the last trial. Like, I kid you not. I mean, business. I'm just old school. Also, I can't type notes and do this at the same time, so I can write them. And so that's how I do things over here, is I write them. What is happening? Oh, why do they keep shutting off?
So now I have questions that I'm going to ask you, and the court officers will read your number, so if you have that card, and hold it high, please. Do any of you folks or a close personal friend or family member know, or have you had any prior dealings with any of the witnesses whose names I've read? Please raise your hand.
96, 96, 32, 32, 59, 59, 3, number 3, number 83, 83.
Juror number 46, 46.
Juror number 90, 90.
All right, thank you. Do any of you folks or a close personal friend or family member know, or have you had any prior dealings with the lawyers in this case or with the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office? I see no affirmative responses. Do any of you folks or a close personal friend or family member have any financial or other personal interest whatsoever in this case or its outcome? I see no affirmative responses. Has anyone seen, heard, or talked about this case? Please raise your hand.
Juror number 47, 47. Juror number 108, 108. Juror number 54, 54. Juror number 4. Juror number 7. Juror number 95, 95. Juror number 12, 12. Juror number 35, 35. Juror number 2. Juror number 107, 107. Juror number 41, 41. Juror number 46, 46. Juror number 24, 24. Juror number 97, 97. Juror number 23, 23. Juror number 99, 99.
Juror number 25, 25. Juror number 90, 90. Juror number 92, 92. Juror number 91, 91. Juror 106. Juror number 101. Juror number 68. Juror number 65. Juror number 105. Juror number 60. Juror number 115, 115. Juror number 76. Juror number 66. Juror number 85.
Juror number 57, 57. Juror number 6. Juror number 96, 96. Juror 109. Juror 113, 13. Juror 73, 73. Juror 31, 31. Juror 32, 32. Juror 111, 111. Juror 88. Juror 53, 53. Juror 110. Juror 59, 59. Juror 40, 40. Juror 94, 94. Juror 3. Juror 86, 86. And juror 62, 62. Juror 84, 84.
Not good.
Juror 112, 112. Juror 64, 64.
Woo.
Juror 82, 82. Juror 19, 19. Juror 77. Juror 17, 17. Juror number 75, 75. Juror number 38. Juror number 43. Juror number 29. Juror number 87. Juror number 28. Juror number 56. Juror number 113. Juror number 36. Juror number 98. Juror number 83. Juror number 72. Juror number 14. Juror number 42. Juror number 78. Juror number 18. Juror number 67. Juror number 37. Juror number 69. Juror number 63.
Are they
Juror
all?
number 22.
Jesus.
Juror number 30, 30.
Oh my God.
Juror number 45.
4-5.
Okay, thank you. Have any of you folks expressed or formed any opinion with respect to this case? If so, please raise your hand.
Juror number 108, 108. Juror number 7. Juror number 95, 95. Juror number 107, 107. Juror number 2. Juror number 35, 35. Juror number 80. Juror number 97, 97.
Oh my God, my hand's already starting to hurt.
90. Juror number 91. Juror 106. Juror 101. Juror 105. Juror 60. Juror 115, 115. Juror number 66. Juror number 85.
Juror 109, Juror 73, 73, Juror 86, Juror number 3, Juror 94, Juror 40, Juror 59, Juror 53, Juror 84, Juror 112, 112, Juror 64, Juror 82, Juror 77, Juror 17, 17. Juror number 75, Juror number 43, Juror number 29, Juror number 28, Juror number 113, Juror number 36, Juror number 18, Juror number 37, and Juror number 22.
All right, thank you. Are any of you folks aware of any bias or prejudice that you may have in regard to this case or in favor of or against either of the parties? If you believe that you might have a bias, please raise your hand.
Right, none of them, right? Let me guess.
25. Juror number 8. Juror 90. Juror 91. Juror 101. Juror 105. Juror 65.
I can already tell you some people are lying.
Juror number 60. Juror number 115, 115. Juror number 66. Juror number 85.
Juror number 17, Juror number 38, Juror number 36, Juror number 37, Juror number 3.
All right.
That's
Thank
it?
you.
Yeah, I can tell you some people are
Do
lying
any
already.
of you folks have any difficulty hearing or any problem with understanding the English language, any physical or mental condition, or any religious or philosophical beliefs that would interfere with your ability to hear the evidence in this case, to understand the evidence, to concentrate during the trial, or to deliberate for the purpose of reaching a verdict? If so, please raise your hand.
Juror number 95, 95. Juror number 8.
Juror 101, 101. Juror number 65. Juror 105.
Juror number 13, Juror 31, 31. Juror 75, Juror 36, Juror 98.
Juror number 33, 0.
Okay. Would any of you folks have any difficulty following the concepts that I've described? First, that the burden of proof rests entirely with the Commonwealth. Second, that that burden of proof is proof beyond a reasonable doubt and to a moral certainty. And third, that the defendant has absolutely no burden. She's presumed to be innocent unless and until the jury determines that the Commonwealth has proved its case beyond a reasonable doubt. Is there anyone who would have difficulty following those very important constitutional concepts?
Juror number 58, 58. Juror number 8.
These people are trying to get out of it.
Okay. Now, I can tell you folks that after every jury trial, I talk to jurors, and they often tell me not only that their jury experience was an interesting one, but a rewarding one. I do understand, though, that for a few of you, however, service in this jury may be a substantial hardship. And let me explain what I mean by that. It's something more than mere inconvenience, because every civic duty we have causes us to be inconvenienced. It's far more extraordinary. It's something that would justify your being excused and a fellow juror having to serve in your place. I do understand, though, that it may be a substantial hardship. So if anyone has a substantial hardship, and what I typically mean by this is you have airline tickets or surgery scheduled during the course of this trial. But bearing in mind that this
Financial
case may take
hardship.
6 to 8 weeks to try according to the schedule that I've described.
Yeah, come on.
And keep in mind that I'll only excuse those who have a substantial hardship. If you think you are in that group, please raise your hand.
Juror number 97, 97. Juror number 47, 47. Juror 108, 108. Juror number 8. Juror number 50. Juror number 7. Juror number 23, 23. Juror number 24, 24.
Juror number 90. Juror number 91. 106. 101. 34, 105, 70, 80, 60.
Juror 6, Juror 109, 13, 31, 32, 88, 53, 110, Juror 3, 112, 64, 82, 17, 17. Juror number 43, juror number 42, juror number 69, and juror number 63. Juror number 62, 62.
Juror number 41, 41.
All right. So in a few minutes, I'm going to leave the bench to give you a chance to fill out the supplemental questionnaires that we have. I ask that you not talk to anyone around you or share with any other prospective juror or anyone any questions or comments or concerns that you may have about jury duty, either generally or in this particular case. If you should have any questions or concerns, you can raise that when you come back to talk to me. So we appreciate your patience. We understand that this will take a while, but I will recess now for you to do that. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Hold on. I don't know why they would play that really obnoxious music. That's really obnoxious. But I will tell you this. This is what my notebook looks like. Okay. If y'all see this, this is crazy. All right. And I will tell you, I can already tell you that some people are lying. She asked if any of these jurors had talked about or heard about this case previously. And that is the most amount of numbers it takes up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 lines on this paper. Okay. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77. 77 fucking jurors, which is more than half of them. 77 jurors said that they had heard about or talked about this case. Okay. And probably half as many said that they have an opinion on it. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. 4. Okay. So a little more than half of those 77 said that they had an opinion already on this case. Okay. Then we go to how many think that they already have a bias, right? That number gets even smaller. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Only 16 of those jurors out of the entire 77 think that they have a bias. All the ones that talked about it, 77 of them, and had talked about it or heard about the case, only 16 of them think that they have a bias. Only 40 of the 77 say they have an opinion on it. That doesn't make sense. If you've talked about it and you've heard about it, you're going to have an opinion on it. That's really how you tell when people are fucking lying. It's like, dude, you can't not have an opinion if you've talked about something, right? Like, obviously you've talked about it because you have an opinion about it. So it's like, these are the jury questionnaires that trip these people up for lying and sort of lets them know that, like, okay, not only do we want to get rid of all the people that say they have a bias, right? All of them gone. But you want to get rid of the people that said that they heard about it, but they didn't say that they had an opinion on it, and they didn't say they were biased. Those ones out. See you later. And then you want to look at all the ones that said they didn't hear about it, right? Because we know some of these people are going to lie on every question. They just are, right? They don't give a shit. They want to get on this jury no matter what. So the next one was, would you have a difficulty, hearing or religious belief or problem with English or physical or mental, impairment that would keep you from understanding and going over the evidence or, sitting to deliberate. And that number was 11 people. And then the next one was difficulty following concepts like burden of proof. And there was only 2 jurors that answered yes, that they would on this. Okay. Oh, I can't. Well, that's the thing. There was a juror that felt like religion beliefs prevented them from like putting someone in jail. So like, that's part of the reason why they ask about religion. And then they did the substantial hardship. Now I'm seeing a pattern with a specific juror in this who's clearly trying to get out of being a juror. Juror number 8. Juror number 8 has said that they have difficulty hearing English or religious belief or a physical or mental impairment, right? They also said they would have difficulty following concepts like the burden of proof, and that it would be a substantial hardship to them. Juror number 8. But I go back, and this is not someone who said that they had heard about the case already. But I do see a pattern in some of the numbers of some of these people. You can look and say, okay, this juror number, say for instance, 9, right? I'm just using that as in, for instance, juror number 9 is saying they've heard about the case. Then we have the ones that none of the jurors admitted to having any dealings with any of the lawyers or the DA's office. So none. And then there were only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 jurors that had any prior dealings with the witnesses in the case. So that's juror number 96, juror number 32, juror number 59, juror number 83, 46, and 90. And then if you look at that, how many of those people say they have a bias? Juror number 90. So that's a person that said they have prior dealings with one of the witnesses. Okay. A bias. 46, though, is not on that. So juror number 46 said that they had prior dealings with one of the witnesses, but that they don't have a bias in the case. I find that very hard to believe. Juror number 83 does not think that they have a bias in the case, but juror number 83 said that they have an opinion. So that doesn't make sense. All right. Juror number 5932 don't think that they are biased. 59, 32, and 96. All 3 don't think they have a bias in this case, but all three have had dealings with the witnesses, prior dealings with the witnesses in this case. Juror number 96, 32, and 59 have all, let me see, make sure it's all had prior, knew about the case. One of them did not answer to that. So this is sort of how, 96 has heard about the case. And then if you go back to that same thing to see if they say they had an opinion about it, and this is why I write down the numbers, they do not say that they already have an opinion, and they do not say that they have a bias, just that they've heard about it. So it's just, I mean, it is, but you can't say you heard about it and that you've talked about it, but you don't have an opinion. If you've talked about it, you have a fucking opinion. You know, you have opinion. Like, but of all the people who said they heard about the case and talked about it, almost only half of those people said they have an opinion. I find that extremely hard to believe, that if you've talked about this, that you don't have an opinion. Obviously, if you've talked about it, you have some sort of opinion. Oh my God, I'm dying for coffee right now. I kid you not. I'm going to keep writing them down. What I find funny was the last one they did, substantial hardship. The judge said things like surgery or plane tickets. I would also argue that that would be a financial hardship. People who cannot be not at work for 8 weeks, or they might be evicted because they need to be paid. And the stipend that the court pays to be a juror is like $30 a day or something. It's like, it's nothing. It's not enough to pay your bills. So I would argue that it can't just be a substantial hardship for, you know, surgery and plane tickets. But once again, when you're talking about a judge that makes over 100 or 200 grand a year, I guess they don't think about us little people who don't even make thousands per month. You know, us little tiny people who, after paying our rent, that's $2,100 a month. That's how much my rent is. And if you only make $3,000 a month, you still have to pay my gas bill. And I don't know about you people here in Mass with me, but my gas bill was over $300 for my tiny apartment for a month. $300. And then I have to pay electric. So I know the judge doesn't seem to think about us minions that don't even have money to put food in our refrigerators. And I kid you not when I say that. So she doesn't include financial hardship. She says surgery or plane tickets. Like, plane tickets, like, you talking vacation, judge? That's not a necessity, you know? Like, so I would argue a substantial hardship includes financial. If they would have to sit on a jury for 6 weeks or 8 weeks, they wouldn't be working. They wouldn't be able to pay their bills. So, but there was quite a few people that felt that they would have a substantial hardship. That was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 35 people out of the 100 and something that they have there today. You have to think about it too. A lot of these people, like, they're going to have to do this every day. The highest number I think I saw was like 100 and, I don't know, 20 maybe, or 10. Nope, because we have 112. I see 112. So it's they have 100 and something when it comes to the jurors. There's 100 and something of them. So they're going to have to do this every day until they seat a jury. You know? Yeah, home to watch the Patriots lose. They need to get their shit together, goddammit. Bree says she always gets accused for what she does for a living. They don't want fraud investigators determining the honesty of defendants. I know, that's so ridiculous to me. You would think you'd want somebody like you on, at least the Commonwealth would, but they're going to get, you know, probably get slammed by the defense with take one of their picks that they don't have to have a reason for and just boot you. Yeah, they expect 6 to 8 weeks, the judge said. 6 to 8 effing weeks. Like, that is an extremely long period of time. Like, it's a long period of time for people to have to sit on a jury. They need to be able to pay their bills. You know, can't just be. Hold on 1 second. Give me 1 second. I'm totally going to have to figure out this whole thing for trial about like lunch and breakfast because, I get up, I put my little on the bus, and then because court starts literally right around the time I put her on the bus, it's hard. So I don't have time to eat breakfast or set up my lunch for the day. So I'm going to have to figure something out for this trial for lunch. Because usually I suffer until dinner, but I found myself around like 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, getting even hungrier. This be cray cray. What is happening? So they just stopped it? I don't understand why they did that. So they're going to start an entire new stream? That doesn't make sense to me. Why start an entire new stream? This is far back. We already watched this.
Junior from Boston, Brian Higgins from San.
Yeah. So basically, they're going to start an entire new stream. I'm confused. It doesn't really make sense to do that. Yeah, they just... What the hell? I'm so confused on what just happened. What just happened? What in the hell just happened? Okay. Well, I guess. So, yeah, but they're not all there. Yes, there is a town called Sandwich. Yes, there is. They're not all going to be there in one day. That's why jury selection takes days. It was over 1,000 jurors, prospective jurors, they called. They do it day by day. So tomorrow will be a whole nother day of more jurors. This could take weeks, right? Just the jury selection. There is a town called Sandwich. It's in the Cape. It's in Cape Cod. It is in the Cape. I think, yeah, so, okay, so I don't know why the news just did that. That really makes no kind of logical sense to me. Because it still says live, and that's clearly not the case. But I have been told that if we look at the beginning of Tom's CPU, he gets really mad. He gets told to go back. Okay, so I don't understand, though. Why did they just end it like that? All she did was take a recess for them to answer the questions. So, this one still says live. Or not. Are we going to scroll all the way to the end and then that's going to be it? I guess they have kind of a better...
A substantial hardship. If you think you are in that group, please raise your hand.
110-03.
So comments or concerns that you may have about jury duty, either generally or in this particular case. If you should have any questions or concerns,
weird.
you can raise that when you come back to talk to me. So we appreciate your patience. We understand that this will take a while. But I will recess now for you to do that. All right.
Okay, well, I guess we're just going to keep an eye on when they come back, because as of right now, they ended the streams, which doesn't really make sense to me why they would have done that. Like, is Channel 5 is the only one that hasn't ended it, I guess. And they're doing this. So, I don't know. I guess I'll keep an eye on that, and see. But maybe in the meantime, we check this thing where the cops tell Tom to back up. Because I'd like to see him flipping out. Let's see. Do we know, like, where in the front it was? Like, where exactly it is? Let's see. 2 hours ago. Is that his last? She's not even streaming anymore. Okie dokie. Let's see. Is this? Are we doing like a? What's happening? Oh, that is loud. Why? For the love of God. Hello, McFly. Is that it? They're just. There's no volume. That's just it. That's it. Like, what happened? Okie dokie. Seeking justice? That's weird. So it's not even on his channel? Oh, God. Why? For the love of God, why? You're never going to get correct information from him. It's that simple. You're just not. Like, you're never, ever, ever going to get correct information from him. So his live tweeting really means to me at this point. Like, I wanted to see them, but I guess he's not even. This is where it is instead. Oh, gross. I don't know what's happening.
To be the poodle. And so sometimes when I go behind the scenes,
look like a poodle.
So I can have a sip of coffee or eat a Girl Scout cookie, which I have.
What is happening? Who is this? What is happening with that? All these grifters, I literally don't understand. Like, I just don't. Is he holding a microphone up to people? What I'm so confused. Is it in the beginning? Does anybody know where it is?
Right now, bro. Absolutely. I'm gonna tie this traffic up as much as I freaking can.
Oh,
be careful. You know what? With they're putting us there are no crosswalks. You realize that? You can't go that way.
Like screaming at people.
This is fucking crazy. And what you need media credentials to get into the buffer zone.
Yeah.
We've been talking about that for months. We know that.
Yeah.
No. Know what? That's to get into the pool. Oh. You need media credentials to get in the buffer zone.
Oh my, I can't. Yes.
Hey, well, how do I get to my car?
Seriously.
Because right now I'm in the buffer zone.
Oh no.
Tom.
Oh no.
Just they're watching probably, so just be careful what you say. I don't even have a chance to say anything. I can't even ask a question. So maybe someone from their cell phone can call from outside where you guys are gonna go right now and ask what we can and cannot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I would do. Look at the cops. 896. Jesus Christ. With a bike. Yeah, can't go through there.
You need to know the numbers of the police cruisers? Come on, bro. Yeah, but you're not targeting anybody,
I'll tell you
right?
what, as soon as Karen, if she parks where you guys are, she's not gonna be there. Walk right from there. You okay?
Uh-huh. All right, so that was the end of the buffer zone. Right here is where Church Street is. This was
I'm glad I got that all on film.
Of it last time.
Well, he did too. He's got a body cam on. He can do that.
Wait a second. He said it's all on cam, but I didn't see anything. So what the hell is he talking about? Go back for a second.
So what are you? Can I ask what you're wearing?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, you look professional. Yeah, look nice. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So that seems acceptable to me. I mean, you're not wearing anything stupid. I mean, I'm not stupid, but like anything.
It's not offensive to anybody, I don't think.
Right. Grab that suitcase real quick, will you?
Yeah.
Let's see. Does the cop tell him to turn around? Like what
happened? Gonna be a day, Mike.
So this is my first free Karen Reed.
No, I'm sorry.
Jury selection. And
how do I get to my
car? I don't know what to expect. Like, how does this work? Like, what do we do? How does it work? I don't know.
What about me?
Would they tell him to go away?
I don't know what's gonna happen to you. This is like it's April Fool's Day today. You get a lot of fun with this, but
yeah.
And there's Dina. People are down there, way down there walking.
So
everyone's got the American flags today.
Yay.
Oh, look on your right-hand side there. Okay. All right. So you are in the buffer zone right now.
I am in the buffer zone, deep.
Okay, this is near the courthouse, so I don't know why he's here.
Yeah, that's some wind.
Oh, there's some
How you doing, bud? Good.
Oh, here he goes, trying to go
I'm gonna hang around with
into
these
the
other guys
courthouse.
here.
I'm gonna hang out with these guys. No, you're not.
Helps a lot.
Please.
You're gonna be told to turn around, I'm assuming.
Yes, sir.
You don't have media credentials, you gotta go behind the buffer zone, okay? Or you're gonna be subject to arrest. Go follow them.
Okay.
You're being told right now, and you're live, and you're being
Yeah,
recorded.
yeah.
Go ahead.
So, I'm not media.
No, you're not. Go back there. You're being subject to being arrested. So
Can
go ahead.
I come when she comes into court? Can I follow her?
No, you can't.
Not even.
can't.
I can't. I have to
No,
go
you can't.
outside the buffer forever.
No, you can't. You go.
Have a good day, sir.
They are not fucking
It is.
around.
Okay.
They are not.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not allowed to walk through this buffer zone during the trial. Actually, when trial's in session. It's what it says on the paper. I can't even go to the registry of deeds.
Nope. Because they know you're not going to the registry of deeds. That's why. What would you need to go there for?
I'm not even. I have nothing. You have nothing. Like, that's Boston Red Sox. That's not offensive. Wow.
You're
They told them
offensive.
to leave too?
Your faces are offensive.
Oh, he's not playing around today, bro.
Nope. And you guys keep pushing the boundaries.
Trust me, they're watching this right now, bro.
Yep. I hope all of you get arrested.
Absolutely. I'm gonna tie this traffic up as much as I freaking can.
Yeah, commit some crimes.
And
It
you know
sounds
what?
like a
They're
great
putting up
idea.
no crosswalks. You realize that?
Like,
You can't go that way.
So that's where we started watching, was right there, where it was like,
fucking
you
crazy.
can't go that way.
And what, you need media credentials to get into the buffer zone.
That's right, and you don't have
Get a
them.
feedback from a resident.
Right.
You know what I mean? Should they should have done this? That's what I would do if you see anybody.
So
yeah, he's moving.
They started the buffer zone way back where it ended before. You can get arrested for that, by the way. So probably don't do that. Probably don't beep if you go through the buffer zone, guys, or near the courthouse. You can be arrested. Oh, look, guys, I found Trinity Douche. Trinity Douchey. Here we go, guys. You guys are idiots. You guys are fucking buffoons. Buffoons.
Hey, Ben. Good to see you.
Good to see you guys. Good to see you. Look at that Trinity Douche.
Tonight. Don't get caught. There's probably cameras around here everywhere.
Don't get caught, guys. You keep doing it, but don't get caught.
Want to get a little closer underneath that?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
Entering the buffer
There you
zone. Oh my god,
Yeah,
what a
nice
tool.
one, nice one. Yeah.
Nice.
What a fucking
I don't know what
tool.
this means. You're not allowed to like walk down here.
Negative.
I don't even know what this means.
Can't cross that line.
What if you gotta go to the bathroom? What if
Nope.
you just
What's
walk
with the
into a
camera?
In the bushes.
What's with the media
Okay, so
camera?
can you walk slowly? Yeah. Are you allowed to walk slowly? You can't-
Look at this douche right here. It's not even sunny out, but definitely wear the sunglasses.
Power walking every day.
Can't do it. I asked. Can't get, he will not. If he sees me in the buffer zone, I'm
Is
going
that
to jail.
tape? Is this tape?
said
What's
that.
what's going on?
Yeah.
What's happening here? Like,
They're on no blue shirts today, right? No
None.
blue shirts. Yeah, didn't think so.
They did do the bomb sniffing out there. You can see the little.
he said, no blue shirts today, huh? No, I didn't think so. Okay, so I'm going to point out, I've covered the Sandra's case. Oh, it's back. Okay. Whoop, back we go. Not on this one. It's not. Oh, yeah, it is. All right. Back we go. Hold on. Boop. Sorry, we got to back this up a little bit. I'll comment on that after. But that was, no, we're not out there. And I'll tell you why. Because we don't need to be out there for jury selection trying to taint the jury pool, you absolute fucking buffoon. We are normal human beings that just want justice for John, and we want the right thing to be done. So no, we're not going to be out there trying to taint the jury pool as the jury is being picked. The only buffoons doing that are you. You absolute effing loser. Thank you, Aurora. Sorry, when I'm looking at the other screen, I can't see the chat, and that made me want to hit the ceiling. No blue shirts. Yeah, no, we're not. We're not there. We're here.
Her 3 children, her sister, and her mother deserve to know where she is.
What is happening?
We need you to be honest with us.
I'm trying.
What? What? I'm confused as to what is happening right now. This is not Karen's. This says Karen Reed murder trial. This is not it. This is that doctor. That's the doctor. Looks like we're still looking at the fan. That's the fan.
No, more. Really? Okay.
I'm so confused.
Okay. All right. Well, We're at 53 minutes right now.
This is still the other thing.
And it goes to
I'm so confused.
2 hours and 57 minutes. okay. All right.
This is the small
Gonna take the
courtroom.
lunch break round 1.
They're in the small courtroom. So we'll go back to CBS because I think originally that's who had it. But right now, that's just the doctor. That's the doctor, the Massachusetts doctor's trial.
How can we explain WBZ News?
You can't. Hush your face. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see anything. I don't know. It still hasn't come back yet, I guess. This is the only thing I'm seeing now. Okay. And this is just Fox playing whatever the hell they're playing. This isn't even anything to do with it at all. This is where they stopped and they started playing like their regular stuff. So I guess what's going to happen is same thing that's going to happen everywhere else, which is they're going to cut in when they come back. Because as of right now, I see absolutely nothing. That's, yeah. I don't know. It's not Karen stuff. But yeah, the fist. Like, why, bro? Just why is the question. No, us blue shirts are not out there. We're not going to sit there during jury selection. Oh, chicks, he's allowed because it's jury selection, but once the trial starts and the jury is sworn in, he will not be allowed there. So that's, and yes, Deb, you are right. They don't know how to follow court orders. Yeah, it'll be after the jury is sworn in. Hi, Dixie Doodles. Hey, Leon. Saw a supposed lawyer called Carl Steinbeck. Oh boy, Carl Steinbeck, who said last night that Judge Bev is a supposed enemy of the U.S. and Constitution. Oh, I can't. Yeah, that sounds like a threat to me, if you ask me. Like, that definitely sounds like it. I can't. That's just insane. Like, yeah, I don't see it. I looked. I don't see it anywhere. Like, well, they did hire people in the beginning to make the crowds look bigger so more people would want to, like, jump in on their behalf. That's what happened. Like, no, he's not allowed in during the trial. This is because they have not sworn in the jury yet. And because the jury's not sworn in yet, the trial technically hasn't started. So as soon as that jury is sworn in, they'll make no mistake, he will not be allowed in there at all. I think we've talked about this before, especially on my channel, that he sits right at that last spot on purpose. He sits there so that the camera can see him. Like that's his whole point of sitting there. It's so the camera can see him. Yeah, this is the doc. That was the doctor. That's okay. No worries. We checked. It's under Karen's name on the live streams though. So you are right about that. It looked like it was coming back because it's on her names, you know, on her name. Yeah, OnlyFan. Our OnlyFan. Yeah, Karen saying that she plucked that piece of glass from John's nose and blood was gushing out of it is extremely damning because guess what? Dead people don't bleed. They do not. So when someone passes away, if they were gushing blood, like the blood stops, like slows and then stops. So if she pulled a piece of glass and she doesn't say that just like blood was there. She says it gushes. That's what she said. Gushes. It wouldn't be gushing if she plucked it out at 6 something in the morning. So that means that when she plucked it out, it was either immediately after she hit John or she went back at some point because at 6 in the morning when John was found, he had no pulse. He had no signs of life whatsoever. And the only reason they didn't call it right there is because they have to warm the body before they call time of death. So they got him in the ambulance, tried to warm him up, and called it at the hospital, but he was already gone. There was no signs of life when they found him. Like, you know, that's a damn good question, Dixie Doodles, and I would like to fucking know the answer as well. And excuse my French, but this is a man who has intimidated witnesses, who has blackmailed, ongoing blackmail against people in general, not just the witnesses, but people in general. Anybody who's willing to speak out against him, anybody who knows dirt about him, anybody who accidentally stumbles upon information they should not, guess what? He comes after you. So now I know when he is hammering away at going after someone, 9 out of 10 times, that's the person I want to talk to, because that means that they know something that he does not want them to know. Believe me, been there, lived it. Okay. Looks like maybe something is happening. We'll see. I don't know if it's the doctor case or what, but let's see. Looks like it might be the doctor case still, but it's still under Karen's name on the channel. So I unmuted it just to see if that's what we're going to get. I guess in the meantime of waiting to see what the hell this camera is doing. Tom's streaming with someone else that's not even on his channel. He's streaming through a different channel. He just has like a live thing going telling them where to go. It's weird. I've never seen that before. Usually you make a post and tell people that you're streaming on a different channel, or maybe they still haven't figured out how to co-stream yet. You can do that. So say for instance, I decide to have a guest on today. That person can stream my live stream from being my guest to their channel. So maybe they didn't figure that out yet. That's exactly right, Kings. Unlike them, we want fair people on the jury. Justice is more important than her or any one person, right? Because if the justice system can't work in this case, it can't work in any case. That means anybody could get onto a jury they're not supposed to be on just to make sure someone's not convicted because they believe the propaganda that they've been sold. You know, it's unfortunate, but that's literally the realization that we're dealing with. Deb, you're absolutely right. She's not out of money. There's no chance she's out of money. She has no idea what out of money looks like. I wish I could show her what out of money looks like. Out of money looks like skipping meals so that you could feed your family. Out of money looks like you have to pick between basic necessities and going to see your child in the hospital over an hour away. That's what out of money looks like. Okay. And I still come here whether I make anything or not. I made $20 yesterday, a total of $20. Today I've made a total of 10 in the 2 hours and 10 minutes that I've been here. She has no idea what out of money is like, dude. She's eating at steakhouses and staying in a seaport for months at a time. And not just in a regular room, but in a suite. Okay. Karen Reed has no idea what out of money means. And let's remember that just the fundraising alone is over $700,000 on the official thing. But we're talking, she's gotten hundreds of thousands in Venmos and PayPals and Cash Apps as well. So there's no amounting to how much money she is actually. And she went from going to little pubs in the area to these, Michelin 5-star restaurants. Like, so to claim she's out of money if you're out of money, you sell your designer wear, right? Like You know, you might keep one or two things, but like you sell things that are worth money. What happens when you're out of things that you can sell that are worth money? Like that's what living with no money is like. She has no idea what that's like. Not a goddamn long shot. Like each attorney got 200,000 was Yannetti, 250,000 for Jackson. And that was before any of her fundraising ever began. They were already paid. So yeah, they all have a list of the potential everyone, you know? Well, that's exactly it, Heartstar. The only way that they can win is if they try to get a plant on that jury. It's the only way. It's literally the only way. Like, she's fair, but I think there are some things where she has just given the defense something because she didn't want to rule in a denial so many times in a row. And I don't necessarily call that fair. I call that looking like it's trying to be fair, but that's not fair because if it legally should have been denied, and I don't care if every single one of them legally should have been denied, then they need to be denied. Like, you know, hey, true crime, how are you? You know, I'm as good as I can be given the circumstances. You know, life is hectic and it's tough and we should all wear helmets because life's that tough. But I'm doing the best I can with the circumstances I am given. But I appreciate you asking. That means either went back to the scene or got out of her car. Yeah, exactly. Because otherwise it wouldn't be gushing. No, he was not. There was no signs of life. When John was found, he had no heartbeat and no signs of life at all. None. Zero. He was already gone. They're not allowed to call it with his body temperature being as low as it was way out in the freezing cold like that. So they have to bring you back. They have to bring you because they don't know how long you've been there. So it's protocol. They have to put you in the ambulance, try life-saving measures, get you to the hospital. Ultimately, none of the life-saving measures worked because he already had no heartbeat. So ultimately they called it at around 8 a.m. But he was already gone hours before that. He was dead when Karen and Carrie and Jen showed up outside 34 Fairview. And remember, Carrie was the one who was removing snow from his face. And Carrie never said anything about a piece of glass. So I find that extremely telling, considering Carrie is the one that did CPR. Okay. So I'm confused. There's only two other explanations. If she went back or she did right after she hit him. Those are the only explanations you can give me. You know, she did delete the clip of her pulling a piece of her taillight out in John's driveway and dropping it into the snow. She pulled a piece of the taillight out. She was so worried there was going to be some sort of electrical fire or something because the wires were exposed in her taillight. And that was her biggest concern. That was the conversation she had with Gretchen Voss that I've been telling you guys about for over a year. That we know that she knew about that taillight and was worried about exposed wires. I didn't tell you guys how I knew that. I didn't tell you guys who Karen told that to, but I've been telling you guys for a while. She was worried about the exposed wires in her taillight, and that was why, because she plucked a piece out of it. She was so worried about the exposed wires. That's the other thing. The clips that are missing are clips that will show like her pulling in from when she left Fairview and left John to when she pulls into John's. Why would Proctor want to delete that clip? So I love when they like try to accuse anybody else of it because it's like Karen was the only one trying to get his phone out of his pocket when he was found. She was trying to pull his phone out of his pocket, so it ended up being underneath him. Why? Why do you need his phone so bad, Karen? Maybe to delete those clips. Then when she got the chance and she went back with her dad, she deleted them. Nobody else had the means, the motive, or the access to any of that other than her. The kids had the access, she did, and John did. That was it. That was it. Nobody else had access to that security system. The kids certainly didn't delete it. John certainly didn't delete it. So who did it? That is correct. He was not alive. They have to try to warm your body temperature up before they can call it. It's just gross. Like they call, Victoria George, Regina George, trying to make fetch again. She looked like a friggin' fish out of water. She looked completely lost in a criminal courtroom, which she should be, because guess what, guys? Guess what? She's a goddamn civil attorney. That's why. She has no idea how criminal law works. It's very clear. She looks like a fish out of water. Like, she clearly fits the description of a free Karen Reed cultist. It's no shocker there. That's for damn sure. Like, that is, yeah, she was there looking like a fish out of water. And I do think that Bev has been quite pro-defense in some of the things that she has ruled on, Absolutely. Per Christina Rex, out of 91 jurors questioned, 78 had seen, heard, or knew of the case, had already formed an opinion. They had bias or favor for one side. So I wrote all that down. You missed it because we just went over that. I wrote all of it down. She says 78. I had 77 written down, but I could have missed it because I'm listening from here. But there's a lady that's calling out the numbers and she's not being clear about it. So there's one in one of them that I left a space that I couldn't hear the juror number, but I left a space to count it as a person. But I have all the juror numbers written down for everything and all the questions. And so that's exactly it. So she says 78, I said 77, but either way, so we'll go with 78. 78 heard about the case and talked about it, but only 40 said that they had an opinion. And then even less, only 16 said that they had a bias from that. And then, 35 said that they would have a substantial hardship. And then 6 of them said that they had prior dealings with the witnesses. So, that's the thing, right? It's like, he's just like a fake consultant behind the scenes, right? That's essentially what they're using him for, is to try to get those people on the jury, like, I agree that he absolutely shouldn't be there. He should have never been allowed. I don't think any other judge would have allowed him, First Amendment or not. He is charged in connection with this case and intimidating witnesses and witness intimidation and wiretapping. There's no reason that he should be allowed anywhere near this case. She had plenty of legal reason to keep him out of that courtroom, First Amendment or not. She does. She looks exactly like the Karen Reed cult, Lisa. Nice to see you, Lisa. This is going to be a long day, y'all. I think every day of jury selection and every day of the trial is going to be a long days. So make sure that you share the video with people. Make sure you like. Make sure you subscribe. There are people who don't even know we exist over here on this channel. So let's make sure they know we exist, so they can find a good source of this information, so they can ask questions, so that they can sort of learn what's going on and welcome them into our community of wonderful, amazing, smart. You guys are so smart. Some of you think of things that I don't even think of, and when you bring it to my attention, I'm like, oh, that's a good point. Like, everybody has something to contribute to this, everyone. And this is ultimately about justice. And not just for John at this point, but for everybody who's been victimized in these cases, from the sewer turtle to Karen, and every single person whose life has been upended by this bullshit. Like, we all deserve justice. All of us. All of us. The lies that have been spread about us, the misinformation that's been spread about us and our families. I think the lowest they ever went, and I didn't think that Free Karen Reed group could go any lower, but the lowest they probably ever went that I've seen is going after children, and specifically my terminally ill child. I think that's the most disgusting, vile thing you could ever do, is go after a terminally ill person or child. Like, there's something seriously wrong with you. I posted a picture of John on my X account yesterday, and I said, like, this is John. Like, this is what this whole thing is about. Like, let's not forget him, because he's been forgotten in this circus. And 2 of the FKR people so kindly wanted to get on there, and one commented, "Shut up. So you're upset that I'm talking about the victim in this case?" And one of them had something stupid and snarky to say. And I'm like, this just shows the world exactly who you people are. If you have a problem with people talking about the victim, the person who passed away, the person who's being forgotten in all this, then you're showing us exactly what the problem is. people like you are exactly the problem. Like, yeah, that's the good one when she claims that she was the only one trying to save him. Meanwhile, Kerry was doing CPR. She's an effing liar, as we know, you know? She is definitely a liar. Like, that's what she does, you know? Yeah, I'm not necessarily think she's fair in some things. I think she's been fair in some things, but I also think she's not been fair in quite a few things when it comes to giving the Commonwealth things that they asked for that would have been given by any other judge, and giving the defense things that absolutely no other judge that I know of would have given, you know? Like, I think she definitely could have been fairer. Sorry, guys, give me 1 second. I'm just going to fix my headband. Oops. It was an early morning for me, so I didn't have time to do much. You know, I'm in my mom gear today, my comfy mom gear. Lou said an autopsy revealed multiple skull fractures, cuts to the back of his head and nose, and brain bleeding. I believe Karen when she said she plucked a piece of glass from his nose. Yeah, I mean, that would be very telling. I think someone else pointed this out when I was watching something yesterday. I can't remember who it was. Maybe Kevin. I don't know who it was, but it was someone who was saying, like, because I like to give credit where it's due, right? So I wish I could remember who it was, but I'm not really sure. But they said something that Karen always does, which is she's always trying to get ahead of the evidence. So there's something that she knows that's going to come out. She's going to try to get ahead of it. So that plucking a piece of glass out of his nose might be something she's trying to get ahead of. What is going on? I heard that. Oop, oop, oop. Is this Canoni? What is this? Or is this the other judge? Nope, this is the other judge. It's really obnoxious because, yeah, she didn't look mortally wounded. That was a good one. He didn't look mortally wounded, she says. That's a weird thing to say. If you're talking about somebody walking into a house, that's a really strange thing to say. He didn't look mortally wounded. Like, you mean when you went back and saw him? Like, that leads me to believe she went back and saw him because, like, didn't look mortally wounded. That's a really weird statement. That's another thing, though, Aurora, right? The Commonwealth has an expert and the defense, and they're a rebuttal expert. The Commonwealth, one of the Commonwealth's expert is a rebuttal, like, expert. And so we're talking about how the defense wanted to get a rebuttal to a rebuttal expert. Like, what? You don't get a rebuttal to a rebuttal expert. Like, that's not, you get a rebuttal. That's what you get. Like, it makes no sense. Yeah, I saw that too. There seems to be an expert from the Ring camera system. That's good news. Like, whether they're going to explain how something gets deleted or how something wouldn't exist anymore, whatever they're going to explain is going to sort of lean the jury towards understanding that important clips were deleted. Okay? Like, that's just how it's going to end, because they don't disappear on their own, right? Like, they don't disappear. So there's got to be a way that they got removed. And you would think that, well, Karen's the only one with access to it other than the kids and John. And the clips that were removed were really important in proving Karen's guilt. So who would have the reason to delete them other than her? Part of the plastics. Yeah, right? Stop trying to make fetch happen. Yeah, I did notice that earlier. I actually wrote it down. Bring witness, question mark. I did. Yeah, I wrote it down just so I could talk about it, because that, and like, did you guys notice how long it took Alessi to like introduce himself? Like, if that guy is not the most long-winded person on planet Earth, I don't know who the hell is. Like, I don't know. Like, I did see that Laurie Vallow called Easton as a witness to keep him out. I think it's a legal tactic. It's a little bit risky, but hey, I agree, Hartster. I don't think she should be allowed on the defense. She has no inside knowledge as an alternative juror, and I think she was just free Karen Reed the whole time, in my opinion. Potluck said they kept getting objection to hearsay when the ring was asked about, so they brought a ring person in to opine about it. Yeah, which is the smart thing to do. Well, they're not, and I am, so you're here, but if you don't enjoy the stream, you don't have to be here, I guess. Yes, I did. And what I find funny about that is they're going to ask him if he has no other jobs. If you're a journalist, right, you wouldn't just be covering one thing. So if not covering this one thing is going to hurt your income, like that's going to be questionable to the judge. And I don't think she's going to buy it, because if that was the case, every witness could say, well, we can't be sequestered because it could hurt our income. It's just, I don't think that's going to fly. Like, he can bitch and whine about his income all he wants, but what about everybody else's income that he has hurt? What about everyone else's with his lies and his bullshit? Like, make no mistake when I say the civil suits are going to come down in a flurry of them when Karen's case is over. An absolute flurry of civil suits. And he's probably going to be living in a box at the end of the day. And realistically, Ryan Waters has got to jump on everyone and is probably going to get his summary judgment before anyone. And he's asking for $7 million. So, I mean, I think he would get at least 3. If not, if they can't pay out, he may just ask for something like, I don't know, Turtle Douche's website that he could obliterate if he wanted to. You know, just saying. Like, just saying. Yeah, that's how they do prove it, you know? And I don't think that's true at all, Red Pill, at all, because some people have bigger channels where they don't have to push donations as much. And if they're monetized, they have that option for people to send chats and donations that way. Not everybody has that option. And some people, like mine, I'm a much smaller channel. So I do have to remind people a little more often on my channel, because I'm a tiny channel. I don't have as many viewers. My channel was started after theirs. I don't have that sort of abundance of viewers on my channel. So, but I still read all of I put up all of people's comments. I don't differentiate over who sends me money. I'm going to read their comment more. Like, everybody's comments get read. So I don't think that's true at all. I don't think Kevin, Kate, and Matt are the only ones. I highly disagree with that. When you have a channel that's been around a while, you just don't need to push them that much. You just don't. It's the nature of the business. And I do think that people should get paid for their time. I mean, if you don't, then that's kind of weird. Like, yeah, I know. I thought that wasn't supposed to happen, though. I thought there was no tweeting, especially about the jurors. So I'm not really sure how they're allowing that. Like, the bullying is ultimately disgusting. Like, yeah, it's like, I don't make a bunch of cash, dude. Like, that's not, I mean, if you don't like it, you know where the door is. I'm not going to apologize for being a small channel and trying to build my channel up and trying to survive while doing it. I'm not going to apologize for that. A lot of people have channels that are already there. They already have plenty of donations coming in from their super chats that they don't have to. I don't have that option. Yes, this is the Turek unaliving. It's the doctor in Massachusetts. Yeah, skipping. That was another weird thing. Skipping. Like, skipping. It was just skipping. Like, oh yeah, just skipping up the driveway. Like, yeah, I think that was setting up the theory, you know, that the glass and the taillight, the ARCA theory of the whole cannon, right? The potato cannon theory. Like, because why else would they do that? Why else would they? Like, I just don't understand. Like, Yeah, you get 3 hots and a cot in prison. That's for sure. I am in Massachusetts. Yep, I am. Hey, Beach. Yes, it does, DJ. It was actually my old business PayPal before COVID completely tanked my small business. And I had to use that one because the Karen Reed wacky doodles, when I realized that she was guilty, they attacked my PayPal, reported it, and one of them actually who had donated to me before, like in the beginning of my channel, no longer liked that I thought that Karen was guilty. And so they lied to their credit card company, even though I literally have a message them sending me like, hey, did you get that? And I sent it to PayPal. So like my PayPal, that one is on like a freeze because of them. So when I say that they affect people's livelihood and they don't give a fuck, that's exactly what I mean. So thankfully I had that PayPal and I was able to use that one. But you know, since it's my business PayPal, it takes like fees from me, but I pay taxes on it. So, you know, the government wants their cut and PayPal wants their cut, you know. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate it. And that's just as good, Deb. That is just as good. Liking and subscribing and sending it to other people to grow is just as good, you know. My replay crew is just as good. People who come here on my replay and they write comments on the videos, like it's just as good. I engage with my audience in a multitude of ways. I don't just do live streams. I have a Discord and I will talk to people there. I'll do a voice chat there. People reach out to me all the time. I've talked to people on the phone, like you name it, and I've done it. Like, so I do a lot when it comes to my channel and my viewers. There's never anybody that I have never responded. Like I respond to everyone, literally everyone. Yeah, that's exactly what I said, Aurora. We were talking about this the other day. Oh, tell your husband I said thank you. Tell him I said thank you. Listen, if you guys are against creators making money, then you don't have to watch here. Some people don't have to ask for it. And maybe that they get other money, you know, like when this is someone's livelihood, like that's kind of how it works. Like, so, I mean, I don't know. Like if you don't like it, then don't watch. I don't know what to tell you. I bring a lot to the table. I have a lot of knowledge. So I answered it to you, Potluck, I sent it to you on the comments from last video where you asked. I sent it there. It's also in not yesterday's video, but the video before that. It's in the description of that video. You know, that's a good question. That's a good question. And that's the thing, right? Like, I don't know if Hank Brennan, I would assume that he would. I don't think it's over. I think they're like, otherwise they would have stopped this live stream and they would have renamed it like Dr. Turek. You know what I mean? So I think that they're only allowed to film certain parts. And if the jurors are like going to sidebar to talk to the judge, then they're not going to film that part. So I guess we're just going to have to keep an eye. I'll stay on for a little bit and we'll keep an eye. Yeah, they were filling out the questionnaire, but I think they're probably already done with that, I would assume. But that's the thing, right? After the questionnaire, if there are things that people couldn't answer or people that like things that the judge or the attorneys want answers on, they're going to bring them up and talk to them about it. So they're not going to show that on camera because they're not going to show the jurors on camera. So I don't think we're going to see that, you know, like, unfortunately, I wish we could, but again, that comes around to these people being harassed. And I mean, they're already going and getting, like, they're trying to follow the jury already coming into the courthouse. Like they're wondering where they can intercept the buses. Like we're seeing posts from them on the Karen Reed pages where like, where can we stand so the buses will see us with the jurors, or where can we be so the jurors can see us? They're already trying to do that, you know, like, thank you, Tiger Lily. I appreciate it. I put a lot of time and energy in, and that's the thing. Like maybe some people press the button and go, you know, And they do this as like a side gig. This is my gig. Like, I'm disabled. This is my gig. Like, and I can only do so much. Like, I put a lot of time and effort, as I have since 2023, into this, like even off air. Anybody who knows me in person, like Ashley, or any of the people who actually know me like in person, know what I put into this. Like, so, you know, I don't think, I'm not a channel of 10,000 or more, or 20 or 30,000. Those people don't have to ask because they have a steady flow. I don't have that. That doesn't exist here. So I'm too small for that. So that's great and all that they don't have to ask, but they also have things like super chats and monetization on. Their channels weren't attacked by the Free Karen Reed mob, and they had to have it paused and then reapply for it. I did. So I think there are also differences in circumstance here. Thank you, Potluck, for your $20 donation. You are the best, my friend. I appreciate you. Oh, Brad and Donna, thank you so much for the $25 donation. I appreciate you as well. I appreciate all of you guys. You guys know that. We just little over here, you know? Like, I don't think that, and I've said this a million times, I don't think creators shouldn't get paid for their time. They absolutely should. I think that there's a line that you draw, though, when you start lying to your audience for it. Like, listen, if you're going to cause a problem here, then you don't have to be here. Most of my followers are their followers. So I don't know why you would think I go to other channels to take other people's followers. Many of the followers we have intertwine with each other. So that doesn't even make any sense. Like, many of those people, like, if you don't like it, the door's over there. Like, I did do my intro and my outro. I did do my intro and my outro by myself. I am very proud of my intro and outro. That took a long time to make, and it was my first try at ever editing clips of video to put together was my intro, and then again for my outro. Yeah, I mean, we have a ton of overflow when it comes to audiences. Like what do you, that doesn't, not only, like, listen, if you want to go criticize someone, do it somewhere else. Like, this is like a happy space. Okay. This is a happy space. And this is a space for people to talk about the case. If you don't like it, like, you can leave anytime. Nobody forced you to be here. Nobody forced you to come here and be a jerk or try to criticize other people. Like, you don't know my life. You don't know my circumstances. When you do, then talk to me. I'm not as big as some other channels. It's really just that simple. Smaller channels have to work their way up. Like, that's it. They have to work their way up. They have to work at it. And that includes asking for the donations to be able to support that. I'm not a rich person. I can't just throw money out the window to stream every day and then never be able to cover those costs. Unfortunately, if I had that option, then I would never ask for a single penny and I would just give giveaways all the time. But I don't have that option. Yeah, there are a lot of people. It's a lot of crossover. We have a lot of crossover between here and Roberta, which I love. I love Roberta. And Matt's channel, and he has TikTok. You know, there's a lot of crossover, and I promote those people's channels all the time. All the time. I give free promotion. I don't ask for anything in return, like, because I think they give some good insight and some good information. It's just that simple. No, but you know what? To me, it's like, I've seen far too many people, like, even with that Bettero thing of him being like, I'm not going on anybody's channel that charges for questions. I take the time to make sure that I interact with my chat. And I take the time to make sure that I don't give more or less attention to people who donate, that I give my equal attention to everyone and what everybody has to say. And I don't think you'll find on every channel that happens either. They're going to give the most attention to the people that donate the most. I don't do that. I think everybody deserves the attention. Not everybody can afford to donate. They help in other ways. They help, whether it's watching the replay and commenting on that, or sharing it with someone else, or hitting the like button. Like, everybody does what they can do to lift each other up, and we should be working together. We shouldn't be tearing each other down. So I mean, for me, it's like you want to tear someone down. Like, I'm not the one. Go tear someone else down. If you don't like my content, you don't have to watch. It's, you know? Well, that's the other thing, right? Like if you're full of that kind of hate and judgment when you don't really know anything about me or who I am as a person, like, or why I would need to recoup some costs on my channel, then I guess this channel isn't for you. And there are plenty of other channels that will just spew hate and scream at viewers and do all that fun shit. And you can totally go there if you want instead. Like, it is, and it's an amazing community, and I appreciate this community. I mean, I'll tell you why, Deb, because they were sent to. It's an effort. That's why. Like, that's what happens. Is like it'll be an effort to send people to do that. I've seen it before a million times. I know where it's coming from. It's distasteful, disgusting, and those people should be ashamed of themselves for the shit that they do, because it's not just me, they do it too. There's a few other people. It's like, listen, if you don't have to like me, all right? Not everybody's gonna like everyone, then just don't watch my content. It's not hard. Like, well, that's the thing, right? Like, I put in that extra effort to give that kind of interaction. I enjoy the interaction. I love trying to stick ideas together, right? And some of you guys have great theories and great ideas on this case and many other cases. Like, this is my safe space as well. And it's going to be a safe space for all of my viewers. And I'm not going to tolerate that kind of stuff here. It's just not. You know, if you don't like how content creators make a living, then don't watch content creators. Everybody's going to do it differently. And when you're just starting a channel or you're as small as I am, you don't really have a choice but to try to push a little bit of money so that you can cover the costs and then possibly, maybe even make a little bit on top of that for all of the time and energy that you put into it. Right? Like, I try. I do my best. Like, no, we can't. We definitely can't. I feel like it has to be ignorance, right? Like, I mean, it's almost like willful ignorance, though, I feel like at this point. Ooh, that's a good one. I mean, let's get real. He knows she is. There's no doubt that he knows that she's, guilty. There's no doubt about that. Not even a little bit. Yeah, now we don't have ads, but also I'm not monetized. So I saw other people too saying something about ads the other day where they were like, oh, well, the creators that put ads in every 2 seconds. I just want to tell you guys that the creators don't put the ads in. YouTube does that. YouTube chooses when to stick those ads in. That's not us. We don't do that. So when you are monetized, because when I was monetized, like, they do stick ads in, and you like, they don't even pay you unless people watch the ads, and 99.9% of people skip them. And when they do pay you for ads, it's like per 1,000 views. It's like 3 cents per 1,000 views. You know what I'm saying? Like, Matt is hilarious. I absolutely adore him. I got to message him today because his last one was pretty good. Like, I mean, they're all good, but like, Oh yeah, 100%. I know. Listen, I don't like ads either. I don't either. But unfortunately, when my channel does get remonetized, if you're watching them on replay, not if you watch them live, but if you watch them on replay, they probably will have ads, because you can't control that. Like, YouTube controls when they insert those ads, unfortunately. But you don't get ads now because I'm not monetized. So I don't get super chats and memberships. And that's another thing that people don't realize is all those people get memberships. So per month, they're being paid for every member that's paying for their channel. So they may not ever have to solicit any donation ever, because their memberships are paying what they need it to pay. Like, oh, you missed some troll, Ashley, who told me that because I asked for donations on my channel, I'm not as good as Kate and Kev, apparently. So that's what you missed. That how dare I bother to want to recoup my time and money. I was already monetized. And the Free Karen Read cult attacked my channel, and they paused my monetization. And then I had to wait 6 months to reapply. And then it takes up to 90 days for them to do that. So Yeah. Oh God. I don't think that will happen, Howard. I just don't. Thank you, Reflect. I appreciate it. I don't think that will happen. I don't think she'll remain free on appeal like Michelle Carter. I think because of the egregious behavior in this case, I don't think there's a chance that she remains free on an appeal. She'll have to sit in prison like everybody else waiting for an appeal, you know? And that's another thing. Like, right, is like you come on here, you try to insult me, you try to criticize me without knowing all the facts. Like I already was monetized. Like I was already monetized, even as a smaller channel. And guess what? The Free Karen Read mob, attacked that. So, had to reapply. So, there was a group. I wouldn't say it was large from what I saw. Thank you, Tara, for your $10 donation. I appreciate you. I don't think it was large. I would say it was a decent size from what I could see, but like, again, we're only seeing whoever with the camera it is, So yeah, I tell them why I'm leaving in case they start writing comments to me back like, hey, I gotta go because I have my own show to run. Once again, if you don't like it, the door's over there. I'm done with this. Like, and once again, I'm done. I don't need to explain myself to anybody. If you don't like my content, don't watch my channel. It's really, really that simple. Like, I would prefer that everybody work together as one for justice. But if they don't want to do that and they want to work on their own, cool, fine. That's great. But you need to find something better with your time to do other than criticize people. Here's an idea. Get your own channel. Then you can do whatever you want with it, right? You can do whatever you want with your own channel. Can you imagine trying to like criticize someone you know nothing about? It's amazing to me the balls people have. The whole reason I tell people like, hey, I got to go, I have my live stream is so that they don't write back and then think that I'm ignoring them because I'm trying to be polite and not like, I don't need them being like, oh, you were ignoring me the other day. You didn't say anything. Like, I don't ignore people on purpose. So I'm letting them know like, hey, I got to go. I have my own live coming up. Like, see you guys later. Like that way they don't write comments afterwards and go, why didn't you answer me the other day? You didn't answer my question. Were you avoiding my question? Like, that's kind of rude. Like, no, I'm not a rude person like that. Like, and FYI, mostly every single person over there knows that I have my own live stream. That's not like something new to them. They know this. This is for people who don't know that I'm leaving. I tell them why I am leaving so that they don't then write comments that I have to respond to. I don't want people to think I'm ignoring them. I don't even know how that happened though with Michelle Carter, to be honest. Like, I don't. Like, oh my God. The absolute picture in your brain that you would get of that, right? Like the picture in your brain, like of her like kicking and screaming in handcuffs, like I didn't do it, like, but Your Honor, it's a conspiracy and you're in on it. Like, can you imagine? Can you imagine? Like, yeah, they are gone now. Like I gave them chance after chance after chance. Like enough is enough. Like it's a sock account anyway. It's really that simple. It's a sock account. I know who it's from. Like I know what they're doing. They can themselves. They have a real big problem when the attention isn't all on them. They need to get a life. Yeah, she will. She might have to tell Your Honor, like, but Your Honor, I can't be arrested in this outfit. All the news channels, Your Honor, are going to see me in this Versace outfit. I need to get my Burberry outfit. So if you mind, Your Honor, I'd like to just go home and properly change so that Channel 4 doesn't see me in this outfit as I'm going to jail. Like, you know? Thank you, Jack. I appreciate it. We do have a lot of kind, amazing people. This community is one of my favorite things to do is come here with you guys because everybody usually welcomes everybody. What we don't welcome is people just being mean bullies. Like, we don't welcome that. If you are one of those people, this is not the channel for you. So if you want to be a mean bully, find it somewhere else. Like, I try the best that I can. Like when when the chat's going really, really fast, like I do the best that I can to get to all the comments. Sometimes I'm even 15 or 20 minutes behind so that I can get to all the comments, you know? Like I do my best to make sure that everybody knows that I'm reading your comments. I agree with you, or I agree with what part of you're saying, or I think other people should see what you're saying. I try to highlight everybody's comments. Like the only ones I don't are like the emojis or the ones that say like yes or no, or there's like saying hi or bye to someone. Like those are the only ones that I don't like highlight, you know? Oh, her lifestyle is about to drastically change considering you're only allowed $95 a week max in canteen and state prison. Karen, tell all the girls at Framingham, like you have your full $95. Like, yeah, no, I do say like, hey, I gotta go. I have a live to do. But most of the time, like everyone in there knows that I have a live, but I don't want people answering me afterwards and then thinking I'm ignoring them like that. I'm not rude like that. But yes, basically all of them know, like, no, like that's people jump from one stream to another. Like, oh my God, imagine. That would be awesome if they just started playing it and they were like, this, Your Honor, this is who she is. Like, have to choose jail shoes. That's the funny part. They actually are allowed to buy on Canteen in Framingham. I have a list somewhere. I have to dig it out for you guys on like what they're allowed to buy. I got it last year. I'll have to see if it's updated now, but they're actually allowed to buy like t-shirts, sweatpants of a certain color, and like it's either like I think it's all white shoes. It's either all white or all black, but I think it's white. All white shoes on Canteen. Like, so they actually are allowed to buy some jail shoes and flip-flops or slippers or what shower shoes they're called. Like, you know, Heartstar, that is something that I've been trying to find out for an extremely long period of time. I can only tell you what I've heard. I have no idea if it is actually true or not. But what I have heard is that the sister doesn't really want. Oh, cool. See you later then, Red Pill. Bye now. It seems like no. It's funny considering there's 243 people watching me right now. Around the same amount that watch Kevin, but right, sure. When he's live. Got it. The sentencing is going to be amazing. I don't know. All I've heard is that her sister doesn't really want anything to do with it. That apparently she lives close by and that she doesn't want anything to do with this fiasco. That she doesn't have a whole lot of contact with the family. I have no idea if that's actually truth or not. I just know that's what I've heard. Right? Your Honor, my sleeves are not, they're not the correct length for jail. Like, they're not. That's all right. I blocked it anyway. Or orange shoes and white socks. Well, you have to remember, they're two people sent in to do exactly what they did. You know? Like, that's it's literally that simple. Like, those two people were sent in here purposely to do exactly what they did. I mean, I've watched it happen before. I'm not an idiot. And I don't know why they bothered, because I think we have a really great community here of people who know what my channel and what my chat and what most of the people who know me are about. Like, Air Force Ones, can she really? That's interesting. Do they have to be all white, though? I'm pretty sure that it said something about either being all white or all black. I know in the men's prisons you can, in Massachusetts, wear all white Air Force Ones, but I don't know about Framingham because there's no county jail either in Norfolk. So anybody who gets arrested in Norfolk County, like say you were going to do county time, you would go straight to Framingham State Prison. So there's no county jail for Norfolk. You go straight to state, which is interesting. Like, she did seem like she wasn't going to put up with the bullshit this trial, Sunken Grave, but we don't really know if she is or not. You know, I feel like that is troubling, right? Like the fact that like he should have any names of any juror. He shouldn't have any names of any jurors. He's not even supposed to be describing them in any way, shape, or form. That's in the order. Like, and that doesn't just go for journalists. That literally goes for anyone. Like anyone. Like even us. Like it's a court order, right? I mean, I don't think they're a free Karen Reed troll. I think I know exactly, where both of them came from, unfortunately. And this is what I say when I say, like, it's really a shame that people can't just work together, and it is what it is. They're going to do it no matter what. She's the only one who's a decent person. She doesn't interact with them at all. She didn't even want to go into the house when Karen was home causing chaos. That's what I've heard. I haven't been able to confirm that with the sister, but that's definitely what I've heard. So no, Framingham. So I worked in the prison system. I worked in a men's prison system, but I have done some advocacy work and some speeches at Framingham. And it's a lot different now than it was, like, God, 20 years ago. I'll tell you that much. They've closed down one area of that jail that they used to use because it was, mold. It's old. It's old. It's very, very old. So it's not a good, it's not high class shindigs. I'll tell you that much. It's old. They're old buildings with old everything, basically. Microwave lights, like everything is old. And so the water is hard water. Like, it's not, she's definitely not going to be living in a nice jail. Framingham is not a nice jail by any stretch of the imagination. Tan. That's not in every jail, though, because they didn't wear tan in my jail. Funny enough, they had black and white stripes. It's a DOC on the back. But again, I worked in a prison for the criminally insane. So there was different rules there. Like, we had to check on them every 15 minutes. Like, usually you only have to check on someone every 15 minutes if they're on, like, a suicide watch in a regular jail. In our jail, we had to check on them every 15 minutes no matter what, because it was for mental health and for the criminally insane. Like, no matter what, they have to be checked on. So I had to go around and do rounds every 15 minutes. Every 15 minutes, you have to count them all. Make sure, like, at night, they're breathing. So you'd have to shine the flashlight sort of into their cell and make sure you can see their chest rising and falling. We were supposed to tell them to take the blankets off from their heads so that we can see their faces. But, like, as long as I can see that you're breathing and that there's nothing wrapped around your neck or anything, like, then I'm not going to make them take the blanket off, because a lot of them use it for warmth. They only get that one blanket, or to keep out light in the early morning hours if their cell has, like, light that comes in early morning, because there's no shades, right? Like, so as long as I could see that they were breathing, I wouldn't, like, shine the light in their face or be ignorant like that or anything. A lot of people will, though. They'll put it right in their face and they're like, hey, wake them up. Like, there's a reason also why, like, the COs originally were fired by Governor Baker, and the private company that I worked for took over that jail. And so we essentially took the jobs of COs, but we didn't get the pay and we didn't get the like title of CO. We did the exact same job as them, but we didn't get the pay and the title because we didn't work for the state. So we did not work for the state, even though we had to do 2 background checks, one for the DOC and one for the private company we worked for. And we had to take 2 classes, one for the DOC and one for the private company we worked for. Make it make sense, I know, but that's how it worked. And so they had a different sort of thing there. But again, there's different rules there because of the mental health aspect of it all. I wish, Michael, I don't think there's that option on Twitter, but I appreciate the sentiment. I do. I think it's not an option on Twitter, but you know what? You can always share it with someone. That's just as helpful. Share it with someone who knows about this case, who doesn't know we exist, I guess. That's just as good. Or putting a comment on it on YouTube when the chat's no longer live anymore. When you put comments on the videos, that helps too. Does my ass look big and orange? Yeah, guys, does this look good? Orange is the new pink. I know, really smart, sister. All black. That's what there has to be. All black shoes. I knew it was either all black or all white. I remember seeing it, like, on the paper, but I couldn't remember if it was all black or if it was all white. Yeah, Shamia, they did in the beginning. In the beginning, we did. But the judge stopped it when they were going to go fill out the jury forms, like the questions, the questionnaire. And they haven't come back yet. So, I mean, I assume they will at some point today. we'll see some movement by maybe the end of the day or so. I know by 1 o'clock they're on lunch. So from 1 to 2, they're on lunch anyway. We'll see no movement there. I will probably hop off about 12:45 anyway to try to attempt to eat my own lunch and then hop back on. So we can maybe catch the end of it if the judge comes back up. I guess we'll find out, you know? Yeah, no, once you're sentenced, you're not at county anymore, but you can be sitting in a county jail even after your sentence for a little bit of time before they actually move you. But there is no county, is my point, in Norfolk. So there's no county jail for anybody to go to. So if Karen was being held right now, pre-sentencing, right, she would not be held in anywhere but Framingham anyway. There's no county jail. So even if she wasn't like out on, if she wasn't out on her own, like reconnaissance, and she didn't have a bail, like if, say, for instance, she had no bail, it was revoked and she was put into jail, she'd go to Framingham. There is no Norfolk County prison or jail. I guess you call it a jail, not a prison, but there's no jail for Norfolk County for women. For men, there is Dedham. But for women, it doesn't exist. So for women, you go straight to Framingham, straight to state prison. For the men, they do have county. They have Dedham. So thank you, Reflect. I appreciate that. It is nauseating, Jack. I 100% agree with you. It's extremely nauseating. The judge had plenty of reason to keep him out, you know? I think because the jury's not sworn in yet, and technically the trial hasn't started until the jury's sworn in. So she's going to allow him to do the jury selection, which I think is an awful mistake on her behalf. Awful mistake. But because the trial has not started, that's why he's allowed. Like, yeah, it's way less strict. There are, when it comes to like them being out of their cells, they're out of their cells much longer periods of time. And county versus state, like county gets less money per week for their canteen than state does. State gets a little bit more. Also, state gets things like candy bars and soda on their canteen, whereas some counties don't have that at all. So it's definitely different. State prison has more movement than county. Like, for instance, you don't want to be in Suffolk County and sit in South Bay. They're locked in for like 21 to 22 hours a day. And they have flat screen TVs in the cells. In the cells. So that's all you have to do all day is watch TV and be stuck in that cell for 21 to 22 hours. That's really where she should have went. Too bad this wasn't Suffolk County and too bad she had a bail. Otherwise, that's where she'd be sitting. Like, I know, right? Oh, poor thing. Like, we give a shit. No offense, but everything that she's put everybody through at this point, like, I can't. I literally can't. Yes, Bridgewater is different. It's not for the faint of heart, but I did enjoy my job there. I'll tell you that much. If I could have afforded, you know, 40 grand a year in childcare, I would have stayed. But that is a hefty bill. Old spelling for jail. Jail, jail. Maybe somebody should ask the sewer turtle, because he's not really know how to spell jail these days, you know? I just don't know how to spell jail, guys. I just think that my little arms don't let me write that fast, so I don't take notes on anything. I go on live streams while we're in court, and I look at other live streams to see what they're saying about me, because I can't help myself. It's my ego. It's my ego, you guys. It's my ego. Go. I know, right? Horizontal. She won't get that in Framingham, but that's what they had in Bridgewater. Is they wore horizontal stripes. Or yeah, orange is the new pink, you know? Hey, Amber. Yep, orange is the new freaking pink. Oh my God. Can you imagine being Sarah Boone's like cellmate? Can anybody imagine being the cellmate of that lady? Like, realistically? Like, watch out. She might try to stuff you in the trunk that you put all your canteen in. You guys are just playing hide and seek, you know? You're welcome, honey. Looney Boone Tunes. Oh my God. She should have her own show with how Looney Tunes that one is, dude. Like, I know. I think we're all worried about it, but I do think that we have to put our faith in Hank at this point, right? Hank is not an idiot. He's done jury selection quite a few times in his career. He was a defense attorney. So he knows all the tricks that they're going to pull. He was a defense attorney, right? Like he knows. So he also knows what to look for and what not to look for. And Hank can strike any of those jurors. And I think it's like, oh God, I think it's either 12 or 20 or 16 that he can strike with no reason at all. So make no mistake, he's going to wait until he sees that they find their like ones that they think are the best. And he's going to be like, yeah, no, strike. Because those are going to be the ones that are going to be more apt to be free Karen Reed in disguise, you know, like, unfortunately. Yeah, I do think that Hank, Hardstar, I think Hank knows exactly what he's doing, Amber. And I think we're in good hands when it comes to him, confused about this kid. It's a damn good question, Heartstar. And the only answer I have for that is propaganda. That's why. Because they were fed a lot of things that weren't true that might make it look suspicious, that might make it look suspect, right? They were fed things like the taillight was on top of the snow and everybody knew everyone, so it's all a giant conspiracy and it's suspect that they didn't do this or they did do that. And so if you put all those things together with people who either don't like cops or have no faith in the system, like I happen to be one of those people. I was in foster care as a kid. I was abused in foster care as a kid. Like I don't have a ton of faith in systems in general when it comes to our government systems. Okay. But I can clearly see from the evidence what's right and what's wrong. So it's easier, I guess, to have someone who doesn't have faith in those systems believe that something corrupt is happening if they've already lived corruption, right? Or if they've seen it with their own eyes. So it's easier for them to understand or believe if they've had a family member, a friend, or themselves who've been through something that is corrupt or not right when it comes to government systems or the judicial system in general. And I think a lot of people were fed a lot of bullshit. And unfortunately, it took a really long time for some of us to understand all the things we're being fed were not only not factual, but being fed straight from the defendant to the propagandist. And so when people call him an investigative journalist, I laugh out loud because he didn't investigate a goddamn fucking thing. He's not spent hours talking to sources, actual sources, not just a bunch of wackadoo middle-aged women on, the pink shirted creatures that will believe that the sky is purple. If he told them it was purple over and over, they would keep repeating to us that it's purple. I'm talking about actual sources, people who work in different places, people who have careers or knowledge or expertise in certain things, but also know people. You have to confirm information with more than one source. So if you have some really good information, you can't just go on that just piece of information. You need to try to go confirm that. And I try to confirm it at least 3 times, at least 3. Sometimes it's not plausible. Sometimes you can only, maybe confirm it 2. But you want to try to confirm something at least 3 times, right? So that it's nailed down. If anything that I have learned, it is you want to try to make sure that you are getting the information correctly and that you double and triple check it, okay? And that's what I attempt to do. So he to this day has not even read all the court documents, not listened to all of the interviews. Look at Matt's last video. Look at Boundless's last video, literally, where Karen's like, my first thought was, and he's like, who said that was her first thought? That's so fucking stupid. Who said that was her first thought? And Matt points out, Karen saying on an interview, well, that was my first thought that he got hit by a plow. Well, who said that was Karen's first thought that he got hit by a plow? Who said it was her first thought? Her, you idiot. He doesn't pay attention. Even when he's in court, he's too busy getting on his computer to look at live streams and look in the chats of the live stream of what he is actually sitting in. He doesn't pay any mind to the actual proceedings and what is happening, the arguments that are being made, because for one, he can't understand the arguments are being made. He doesn't understand anything that has to do with law. That's abundantly clear when he tried to claim that magically if Karen was found not guilty, his charges would just evaporate into thin air, which is not a thing and would never happen. But he told his audience, and still tells his audience, things like that. He also tells people that he got arrested for Karen Reed and for speaking truth. And no, he got arrested because he committed crimes, went to his ex-girlfriend's house, threatened her and her children, and decided to commit crimes while he was there. Then he wiretapped her. He got arrested because he committed crimes. It had nothing to do with Karen Reed. Nothing to do with speaking truth for Karen Reed. He went over there because his ego. That's why. He went over there because he wanted to tell her to throw her phone in a river. Okay? Like, it's ridiculous. He went to jail because he committed crimes and he's a criminal. And all that while, the entire time he's been out on bail, he has blackmailed people. He has, and the blackmail law in Massachusetts kind of like, it's like blackmail slash, like, so it's not just one thing here. It's technically extortion too. Like, so it's like blackmail slash extortion. Like, so like, and I have evidence of, like, I don't know why, but for some reason, his victims, at least some of them, seem to always find me. And they'll reach out and like, they always have evidence and lots of it, of what he's doing. And I find a pattern in the things that he says to them over and over and over. Do you know who I am? Do you know what I can do with your life? If you don't stop doing X, Y, or Z, or if you don't agree to stop doing X, Y, or Z, I'm going to make you Turtle Boy famous. I'm going to make you so famous. Like, he says the same things over and over. Don't fuck with me. That's his favorite one. Don't fuck with me. Do you know who I am? Yeah, a douche. We know who you are. A turtley douche. She's diary of a wimpy sewer turtle. Like, come on, man. No, they're not held in Dedham. They're, well, maybe they are now, but they were held there when you would drop off the Dedham inmates. And then what would happen is they would go, like, so they would drop, the vans would drop off the Dedham inmates. They would wait in a cell until they did that. And then they would take the women out. They would put them back in the van and they would drive them to Framingham. I don't know if it's different now. But no, but they have different units in Framingham. So for instance, they have an east and a west, and then they have different like housing units that are like almost like little, look like mini apartment complexes with just like cells in them, that are for the lifers. So east and west is sentenced and not sentenced. So when you're not sentenced, for instance, I don't know which one's which now, but east would be non-sentenced, west would be sentenced. So like, you would only be housed with unsentenced people. You wouldn't be housed with like the lifers. You're not housed with people who are already sentenced. There is a specific unit that is for non-sentenced people. And like that unit, you're not allowed to use like a microwave, hot water pots. Like, you're not allowed to use any of the things that people who are sentenced are allowed to use either. So that's another, different aspect of it. They don't mix them. That's why they have the separate units, east and west. I don't know if they, name them something different now, but back then it used to be east and west. And then they had one specific unit for people who were coming in off the street who were addicted to drugs. It was called Brewster 1 and 2. And those were sort of just like open air units where like they weren't cells. It was just one big open area with just bunk bed after bunk bed after bunk bed. Those are all unsentenced people as well, but they were all of them were unsentenced. Yeah, Lally is a little monotone. That's his problem, is he's very like monotone, and like I feel like I needed him to put more emotion, like in it. And Hank sort of gives it that little kick of emotion, where Lally kind of just has the same monotone kind of talking thing, and he always says the same thing and pertaining to. If he said pertaining to one more time, I was going to lose my mind. But like, that's how he talks. You know what I mean? Like, Hank gives it that sort of like zen, like that sort of like je ne sais quoi, for lack of a better term. Like that kind of, what's the other word I'm looking for here? That kind of oomph, I guess, like that you would expect from like a defense attorney or a very strong prosecution. And I can appreciate that not every, ADA or DA is going to have that sort of presence, but Hank gives that presence. And maybe it's because he was a defense attorney that he holds that sort of like the way he carries himself as to like a sort of pay attention to what I'm saying. And you have no choice but to sort of pay attention to what he's saying, because every time he speaks, I hear every word he says. It's just kind of captivating to watch him. And I don't know if it's because a lot of like my legal takes on what's going to happen sort of align with what he does, that like I want to pick his brain so badly, like so badly. Like, no, he won't. Definitely not put the jury to sleep. Like, He did with the weather. That is true. You're right about that, Lisa, unless he will put us to sleep. That is an absolute fact right there. It took him like a whole, like, do you see how long it took him to just introduce himself? Like, of all the other attorneys, oh, blah, 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 all introducing themselves, except Yannetti, that slimy fuck, sort of sneaking in that whole, like, I have offices and get him in Boston. He's essentially telling them where to find him. If you don't like this, after the trial ends, you can find me. Like, bro, really? Like, self-promotion of, like, in the courtroom? Like, I don't get it, bro. I don't get it. Like, didn't make sense to me. Nobody needs to know where your offices are. Just say who you are, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Just say who you are. It's not hard. Like, all of the prosecution helps. So it's Laura McLaughlin, Adam Lally, and Hank. So they all get to help sort of decide together, which is nice. You know, it's definitely nice. Thank you, Jack, for your $12.12. We're doing 12.12 today. Was it 11.11 the other day? So we're doing 12.12 today. Thank you, Jack. I appreciate you and your donation to the channel. Thank you. Always, always. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate the love from you guys. Yeah, we should trust Hank. Yeah, I think he knows by now how to spot these people, you know, like, and I do think he's going to be very loud and clear with the facts. I think we're also getting, remember, a lot of visuals in this trial, which I criticized last time. Remember, like, I think we need a lot more visuals. We need some demonstrations and chalks. And lo and behold, thank you, Hank. He brings us exactly that for this trial. He brings us chalks. He brings us, like, so we're going to get all that. And I'm like super excited to like do this all over again, but in a way that makes more sense to me with the chalks. Like, I don't know. I mean, I think Lally might have underestimated what they would do, you know? Like, I think you have to think about it though. Even with all the flaws that poor Adam Lally has, he didn't ask for this. It gets assigned to him, the poor guy. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't ask for it. And I don't think he could be really prepared for this because nobody knows what this cult's going to do. No one on planet Earth knows what the fuck this cult's going to do. Like, they just do crazy shit that you never think they can get any lower, but they do. Right. Like, so I'm like, all right, like, what's really going to happen here? Like, what's really going to happen here? Like, are they going to be able to sneak through this time? I don't think so. I mean, I have to have faith that Hank's going to spot them. I don't think Lally was ready to like understand like how deep this would go. And like, think about it. Victoria George snuck herself through. And I fully believe in my heart, and this is just my opinion, but I fully believe that she was free Karen Reed before she ever stepped on that jury. I think she raised her hand and lied. I think she was not impartial, but she was biased and she was mad. I mean, I've never seen a juror cry because they weren't picked for deliberation. She said she had been on 2 previous juries, one where she was the foreman, and clearly she wanted to be a foreman. Right? That's very clear. But I have never, ever seen somebody cry because they were not picked. Like, what does that tell you? What does that tell you? And apparently the other person picked was like also like a free Karen Reed person. Like, so that means there's 2 of them that were alternates that were free Karen Reed. And then as we know, at least 1 or 2 on the actual jury. So I don't know. They really need to make sure. And in my opinion, I would be striking anybody that's ever heard of this case. Anybody that claims they've heard of it, talked about it, any of it, out you go. Out you go. He does have a lot more wit, but I don't know if it's like witty, like for us, like versus like, I mean, I hear Adam Lally has a great conviction rate and is a very smart guy. I just think that this case was like, I mean, the most often I hear when it comes to this case is I've never seen anything like this before. Like, and not just in one aspect, but in like so many different aspects, people are saying things like, I've never seen anything like this before. I've never seen that before. Like, I've never seen it before. So like, even some of the things I'm like, oh my God, I've never seen somebody's entire phone extraction be leaked ever. But that happened to Lindsay. I have never seen that happen ever. Like, that should have never happened ever. The fact that it did is a huge problem to begin with. Like, but I believe in Hank. I believe that he will get the job done, you know? Oh yeah, that it's definitely a big part of it. We had with the Whitey stuff, you know, corruption going back, you know, into the FBI, the Boston PD, and even further into regular PDs way back when, 80s, 70s, 80s, early 90s. And I think a lot of that sits today with people who grew up in that, knowing how much corruption there was. They just believe everything is corrupt, Yes, exactly. Thanks to Lally, she didn't get away with it. Exactly. We at least got most of those jurors to say, wait a second. No, we're not voting that she's not guilty, I just feel like Ronnie, once again, like by the way he speaks, he doesn't, he's not consistent in the things that he says. And a lot of the things he says, if you notice, are cult mantras. So it's hard for me to believe that he would have been an impartial juror, especially when we had somebody speaking up on social media who was like, oh, my friend's a juror, but they're Asian, so they don't check their phone and they take it very seriously. I feel like that was a ploy. I feel like, of course, he clearly told somebody he was on that jury, which means he was talking about it. How else would they know, right? So number one, that would be a lie. And number two, I just don't see how anybody would go and write that online unless you were doing it to try to be like, see, I told you guys he was impartial, but he believed Karen was innocent. Like, I think that whole thing was a ploy so that later on they could say, well, he went into it being impartial. Like, there is no law in Massachusetts. We have no journalistic privilege laws in Massachusetts. So I don't know what she's going to do other than answer the questions, because Massachusetts does not hold a journalistic privilege law. It does not exist in my state. It does not exist here. We do not have that option. So I don't know how she would think that would work for her, I think he will focus a lot on her public statements and how her public statements don't match even her own public statements, I've thought about that, but I honestly don't think that he will. I don't think he has the capacity to turn, because I think he knows that if he does, then like A, Freaker Reed is going to tear him apart. And B, it just proves that you've been a liar this entire time and that you've been grifting, and he's never going to admit that ever. Oh yeah. Trust me, bro. Trust me, bruh. I mean, he's questionable at best. That's for sure. Like, there is a video that Ashley showed me. I'm not going to show it here because I don't want to have like a strike for profane or really bad profanity about children. But Ashley can probably direct you to where to watch it. It's disgusting. Like, heard he has charges like that, and that would be very bad. Ride in prison. I don't know about charges like that. I've never seen anything like that. Usually you would find that on someone's record, and I've never seen anything like that. But I've heard whispers of other random things that are just questionable at best. Well, he reminds me of Ronnie, the limo driver from Howard Stern. Oh my God, I totally forgot about that guy. That's freaking hilarious. I can't. Yeah, definitely a little more emotion. That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you, Barb. That's it. Didn't have charisma. Right? Hanks has that charisma. He's engaging. Like, that's the word that probably best describes it, right? Like, I know, right? I think that's probably all anybody can do, Barb, to not fall asleep is like run on your treadmill while Leslie's talking. Like, he does not, and he doesn't need to be an asshole. He can just be to the point to get his point across, No, they're not allowed to just speak to the jury. No, they're only allowed to ask questions, like a voir dire sort of thing. Like, they are not allowed to just speak to the jury. Like, she's not allowed to tell them I was a alternating juror in the last trial. Like, that's not going to be allowed. That's what should happen, right? That's what damn well should happen. I believe, and after this, I feel like I believe in, like, we should have professional juries. I just don't think that, like, lay people can do it anymore. I honestly think that there needs to be some sort of professional jury. Like, it was such a tough assignment for Lally. So I give him credit where it's due, because it was a really, really hard case and nobody asked for that, Like, no one asked for that. That poor guy had no idea what he was walking into, you know? I do think she made some really bad rulings, you know, and there are some that she should have done, some other things she should have done that would have kept bias out of the entire trial, you know? And yeah, the defense absolutely ambushed Lally with ARCA. I want that decision. I want the goddamn ARCA decision. Like, when are we getting that? Like, yeah, she cried. It was weird. Like, I've never seen anything like that before. But yeah, I guess that is what happens when you get involved with an idiot. That's right, Suzanne. Like, well, that's the thing. She needs to stop it further, because they're going to keep poking away at little holes in things that she doesn't do. And they're going to keep like stretching as far as they can over that line. She needs to smack them back when they even get close to that line. Like, Lindsay does have one hell of a lawsuit. Now we just got to have an attorney that will, you know, take it on contingency, do it. She wants to sue the hell out of a lot of different people. Brennan was tasked with trying to prove the Whitey Bulger was not a rat. That, well, also part of what Brennan was doing in the Whitey case was to expose the corruption in the case. That's what we were hired to do, was to expose the corruption that the FBI and that the local PD were involved in when it came to Whitey, and to prove that he was not an informant. Yeah, it's a lot of middle-aged women. I've noticed that. I don't know, but that's why he also makes fun of the way they look. I can't imagine that once his texts come out, if anything leaks where like they're able to see the way that he speaks about them in private. I mean, look at what he says in public when he thought that that lady was telling him to shut up. In reality, she was telling Karen to shut up, and it was for him. But he berated that woman on his show, berated that woman, and sat there and called her names, told her she was an idiot, told her that she's going to send him a turtle chat, and then she's going to swallow everything he says, and then she's going to take it, and she's going to keep watching, and then she's going to send him a turtle chat. Like, I'm sorry, what? That's like, how can anybody sit there and watch the way he spoke to that woman, even though knowing he has no reading comprehension and had no clue that he was literally yelling at someone that was trying to defend him? But how do you watch that and then go, yeah, this is the guy I want to watch? I don't get it. It doesn't make sense. Like, Brennan uncovered that most high echelon informants have to have a 50 to 100K page FBI file after 20 years. Yeah, exactly. And Whitey only had 700. That's right. And also, usually they have like a picture, and like there's a whole thing, especially if you're a paid informant too. Like, everybody does like to bash Massachusetts. It is for, you know, I feel like this case. But we do have some good laws. There are some gaps that need to be fixed, and I think we can fix those, you know? He may turn, but make it sympathetic to benefit himself. Well, that's what he always does, is everything has to be sympathetic for himself, unfortunately. Like, he can never admit any wrongdoing in anything. Like, yeah, we haven't gotten anything back on that records request, right? No? I don't, like, we've been waiting on that. I think we might need to check on that because it's been close to 10 days. So I think that they might not have any more days left to answer us. Maybe a lot. I don't know. Not a lot when it comes to the jury yet. Just the very, very beginning of the show, but missed some trolls. Oh, you're right. I didn't think about that. Greedy. Yeah. I didn't think about that. But I mean, I feel like there just has to be some like level of people being jurors, because I feel like you can't just call the milkman down. Like, you know, I feel like something has to happen when it comes to juries, that these people aren't allowed to like sneak on to juries and you know. Well, we already knew that, but like, I thought Hank was going to file another like motion to have them not come in until all of the, like, I know he filed the motion, like he didn't get all the discovery. So what's happening? Like, we know that they aren't allowed to say that they're not biased or hired by the feds. That was already things that were going to happen, but where's the damn discovery? Like, are they going to give it up or what? Because if they're not going to give up the correct discovery, they shouldn't be allowed. What? Why would Hootie and the not that Hootie and the Blowfish is like super popular anymore. It's like 80s shit, you know, like, but still, in my case where Aiden had me falsely arrested, 4 prosecutors walked off my case and finally got someone who knew he was going to lose. Yep. And that's where I say, like, this, sort of corruption, I think, in helping him sort of runs a little deeper than we even realize. And I would like to get to the bottom of it. Oh, yeah. No, Ashley's case is before Karen's case ever existed. And it's just a pattern of behavior with him. It's a pattern of behavior. Oh, abso-freaking-lutely. Absolutely, Howard. He does deserve full credit. He did what he could with what he had. That's the bottom line. Like, do you think it would be more beneficial to get more men on the jury? I think it would be, considering most free Karen Reed are middle-aged women with no life. I think that's a true statement. But they do have some middle-aged men with no lives also, but I think you're right, where it's less men than it is women. I don't know if that's just because, like, that's who shows up outside, and, like, maybe the men are too embarrassed to show up outside, but there are a lot more of them online. So I don't know. Maybe it's possible that it could be beneficial to have more men, or maybe, I don't know, have people who actually have brains, like maybe get people who know a little something about a little something, like, I think they have pretty good questions they're going to ask. And I feel like to get to the bottom of the rest of it, they can have a voir dire. But I think Hank will do the best that he can to make sure that nobody within even a smell of free Karen Reed trying to sneak onto the jury. And of course, we reported the teacher this morning for her part in trying to sneak onto the jury. So sorry, teacher from Canton, you will not be sneaking onto the jury as a free Karen Reed person. And you and your fellow teachers that sat there and talked about how you should be absolutely fucking ashamed of yourselves. Sooner than later, that's for sure. I'm hoping by like midsummer-ish, about-ish, midsummer-ish maybe, because his trial's not going to happen until after Karen. So that would be about, midsummer, I'm guessing, No update? Damn it. I don't know about that records request that we put out. She is one brave person, and she's super helpful. And thank you for doing the records request for us to try to figure out whether this is real or not, because that'd be good information to have on that specific thing. And thank you for giving us premium, so we don't have to worry about doing any ads when we're watching the trial. Like, yeah, a lot of stuff was just sprung on him in the middle of trial too. But that's where I say the judge should not have allowed it in the middle of trial. Like, no, like. Yeah, 400 hours. That's what I was talking about yesterday. 400 hours of footage. Like, he does have a team, that's for sure. But Hank's one of those people that, like, works all night if he has to. I don't know how he does it. Like, I need my sleep, that's for sure. Like, yes, you are his kryptonite. I feel like we need to make, like, a whole song about that kryptonite. Like, maybe once her case is over. You might be right about that, Howard. Maybe he would try and, like, flip once her case is over, but then she could be charged. But again, they're under investigation for witness intimidation anyway, for conspiracy to commit witness intimidation. Oh, no. After her shit is over, like, if she's already found guilty and she's already in jail, I think that there's a very real possibility that he just throws her under the bus. Because if she's already in jail, then she's not getting out, right? Like, so I think, yeah. As a lot of people, I've had a lot of his victims come to me, and I've found that a lot of you ladies are fighters. And it's funny because mostly he picks on women. Isn't that funny? It's not all women, but mostly it's women. He's a woman hater. It's really that simple. The awful things he said about his own daughter, that should tell you everything you need to know about the man. I mean, literally. Like, oh, no. Lie detectors, actually, they're not admissible in court, so they probably wouldn't use those. I feel like we should go old school and use the shots that used to give people of, like, truth serum. That might be it better. I don't know. That's a good question. How did they? That's a damn good. I don't know. I guess everybody who knows, like, everybody's got to know who the president is. So I guess, I don't know. How would you pick that jury? That's a good damn question. Jack said most turtle watchers are hateful and non-empathetic people who get enjoyment out of watching turtle abuse other people. Yeah, it is. It's gross and it's sick, and I don't understand it. I've never turned anybody away from asking for help or even just being a lending ear. I don't care who you are. Like even some people who have been berated by him and then obviously realize who he is and who were free Karen Reed, who are no longer free Karen Reed because they realize like if he could lie about them, then he could lie about this too. Even them, I've never turned any one of those people away who have come to me, who have been treated like human dog shit. Like it's not right no matter what way you slice it, you know? I do think they need some highly intelligent people. I definitely think that. Like, I really do. I think the IQ test wasn't a bad idea. Like, do a goddamn IQ test. Like, Brittany said TB thinks they alphabetized the names by first name because they wanted him named first. Oh my God. Everything's a conspiracy with these people, dude. Oh my effing Lord. Like, bro, nobody wants to see your name first. Nobody wants to see your stupid face behind the camera like this, looking all stupid. Like literally, that's what he looks like. He sits in that same spot that most journalists don't want because they don't want the attention on them during the, like when Brendan's talking, they want to be able to just do their work and like put notes. He doesn't. He wants that attention. That's exactly what he wants. So that is exactly why he sits there. Like, wait until the next video goes out. Oh yeah. I don't think women, we know that a lot of the jurors talked about her like body language and like her facial expressions. And I don't think she'll ever be able to help herself when it comes to any of that. I definitely think that she will absolutely 100% still give those facial expressions. Her body language will still speak volumes, you know, like, oh my God, you thought that too, Francesca? I wasn't the only one. Hallelujah, dude. She said, Ronnie the juror struck me as one of those people who think that they're more intelligent than they actually are. His reasoning skills didn't seem very strong. I think sometimes people think if they use big words, I've seen this happen. I see it happen all the time. Some people think if they use bigger words, they'll seem more intelligent. Or if they say certain things, they'll seem more intelligent. And it's like, you don't have to use big words to be intelligent. Intelligent people don't have to use big words to just seem like they're smart all the time. Like you can talk like a normal person and still be intelligent. Okay. Like it's those people that give me pause. Like I don't need you to say 75, 12 character words to know whether you're smart or not. The fact that you think that you need to use 10 to 12 character words in a small conversation tells me that you need to feel like you're smart or you need other people to think that you're smart. Like that shows an insecurity in my eyes. Like that's my opinion of it. I can have a regular conversation with anyone. Most of you are very intelligent. I know I'm intelligent, so there's no doubt about that. Like, so, but I don't need to use 10 to 12 to 14 to 16 character words in my sentences to know that I have common sense and intelligence. I just don't. Like, men will be more mechanical oriented about the car and less likely to know much about. That's another thing. If you know anything about men, sometimes they have the attention span of a toddler. Like, but I also know some very highly intelligent men that pay attention to every detail. So you just never know. I guess the way to pick that out is the questions, right? Like, see what critical thinkers are going to ask. If they ask a question like, what color is this jacket? And everybody just answers with the color of their own jacket, even though the word says this, right? You want the people that are asking, well, what does this mean? Whose jacket? What's this? Like, you're saying this jacket, but is that this jacket you're going to show us? This jacket over here? Like, what jacket, right? Like, those are the people who, like, I think having questions that sort of make it so they have to ask, what are you talking about? Because you're being very general, are people who are critical thinkers. How long he's likely to get? Well, without a very long, lengthy record, his first offense, but also a very large first offense, you're talking 20 felony charges of 10 years or more on each one. I mean, even if they dropped 5 of them, right? Say they dropped 5 of them. say they drop 10 of them. You still have 10 felony charges, okay, that carry jail time of 10 years or more. I think even if you drop them all except one and he got the max on that, he would still be getting like 10 years. If you gave him the minimum on that, like that you wanted, was probably like 2.5 to 5. I think he at least does 5, if not more. They're not going to slap him with probation. I promise you that. Like 10 years each count, dude. He's looking at a lifetime of jail, like already. Like, that's another thing. Unsolved didn't even fight it. They just handed over the footage. They didn't even want to attempt to fight it. They're like, yep, here you go. Maybe that has something to do with Karen trashing the fucking lady. Nobody sticks up for her character. It's kind of sad. That you don't have a single person to stick up for you as a character witness, Karen? Gee, I wonder why that is. Like, yeah, I think it's something like 120 or 150, whatever it is now. Like, it's a ridiculous amount of time. Like, I mean, I think there's quite a few different communities of people, though, that would be appropriate for it, you know? You know, I have to feel like Alan Jackson's wife or ex-wife, if she's going to be a soon-to-be ex-wife, would just beat the ever-loving crap out of her if she attempted to move to Los Angeles. But I think that if she was ever acquitted, she'd probably just crawl into a hole and hide for the rest of her life, which she probably should. Yeah, she probably feel like she owed it to him and she should take intimidation rap. I can't, right? Ask his wife. So sad. Yeah, yeah, Suzanne, we talked about that earlier. The sister just doesn't want anything to do with this circus, and I can't blame her, you know, at all. I do, actually. I don't. I honestly think so. DJ asks if I think that there's an indictment waiting. And I honestly do feel like maybe they have a sealed indictment, right? Maybe they have a sealed indictment just waiting to be unsealed at some point. Like, I feel like that could be a very real possibility. Like, right? An AI jury. I've tried, Ashley. I try. I don't turn anyone away, but I have tried to join people together because I feel like you're stronger together than you are apart, right? Like, you're strength in numbers, you know? Like, that's what I feel like. Strength in numbers, you know? Carl crying about Bev's ruling being unconstitutional. They all cry about that all the time. Something happens they don't like. Yeah, there was a teacher out of Canton that was called for jury and decided she was going to talk about it with the other teachers, and somebody overheard her, and the other teachers were like, yeah, you should definitely get on there and get her acquitted. Like, this is so awesome. Like, yeah, no, you were reported, ma'am, for that. So good luck to you trying to get on the jury now. But yes, that happened. That happened. TJ, I think witness intimidation charges may be coming if she's acquitted, and if she's convicted, they're charged. I think that's exactly it, Francesca. I think they're waiting to see what happens with this case before they unseal those indictments. That's just it's just an inkling, you know. I don't know. I feel like they have sealed indictments on Karen and Aiden, you know. Yeah, most journalists do want to come across as fair and unbiased, even if they're not. That's why they don't want that seat, but he does, you know. Dude, if he pleads the fifth on the stand, it's over for him. I really wish he would, Brittany. So Brittany said if TB pleads the fifth on the stand, can't he be held in contempt for the duration of the trial? No, he cannot. Not if he pleads the fifth. He cannot. You have the right to plead the fifth. But as everybody remembers, he said that if the Alberts or McCades pleaded the fifth, that would mean that they were clearly guilty of a crime and trying to hide a crime, because otherwise you wouldn't plead the fifth. So I'm going to apply that same logic to him. He knows if he pleads the fifth, then he's pleading that, like, he could be saying something that could incriminate himself. So therefore means he could have committed a crime. You wouldn't plead the fifth if you didn't commit a crime. So, and you weren't going to incriminate yourself. So I think he knows that if he pleads the fifth, that guess what? People are going to be like, hey, yeah, so what happened here, buddy? like you said you did nothing wrong, but you would incriminate yourself, it's over for him. It's already over for him, but even more so if that was the case, you know? Like, we know from this morning. We know from this morning. They would have to put a lot more Botox in her face to stop her from making faces. Taylor, I love that. I absolutely love that. They probably would. You are right. Dude, that mocking of John's mom was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. That made me so angry for Peggy. Like, it pissed me the hell off for Peggy. That was just awful. Like, you mailed them the carpet? The carpet that Karen has? Yeah, the phrase is just to use them. Like, there's no reason for it. Like, smaller words for the uneducated. Brittany, not if you would be admitting to a crime on the stand. No, people cannot be punished. No, that's right. They can't. You have the constitutional right to plead the fifth. Yeah, that carpet, the temperature controlled carpet that doesn't friggin' exist. Like, oh my God, I wish Hank would. Like, you're going to need to turn that over, ma'am. We're going to need to test that. Like, I would love that. Like, exactly, Dixie Doodles. Deductive reasoning is more valuable than a big vocabulary. I 100% agree. Jackson does kind of operate like that. Big words and no substance. It's like a lessee talking in circles. I'll get to it, Your Honor, but never actually gets to it, you know? Women think more with their emotions and men think more logically. I do think us women think a lot with our emotions. I know that, you know, I've been guilty of definitely doing that, but I also like to think that I am pretty intelligent when it comes to critical thinking skills and logical thinking skills. But everyone's emotions, I feel like, can get the best of them at times. Definitely been guilty of that before, and I know probably everyone has been, you know? The butterfly, the stupid pink bow. Like, come on, man. When he said not to victim blame, but then immediately victim blame Francesca? Yeah. Like, oh, it was John's fault because he wanted to go to the party. That is the most absurd reasoning and illogical thing I have ever heard someone say. Oh, it's his fault because he wanted to go to the party. So, hey, while we were on our way to the mall to buy underwear for our children, some car smashed into us and we died, but it's our fault because we wanted to go to the mall to get the underwear for our children. Like, yeah, let's definitely blame the victim. Like, hey, Angela. Oh, yeah, the jury will absolutely hate him if they play any of his stuff during his trial, and they're going to. So that's what I find so funny. Like, they're going to absolutely hate him. Like, no, he won't have Bev. She would conflict out, basically. So I don't think he would have her. 10 years and a lifetime ban on the internet would be amazing. He would lose his ever-loving mind. The internet means more to him than anything. He lives on the internet, and I mean 24/7. That man does not even sleep. Like, he sleeps like an hour a night. He does not sleep. He literally spends his entirety of his day and night on the freaking internet. Sock accounts, fake accounts, like all of it, all day long. Internet. Like, he wouldn't be able to handle it. Listen, at least if he gets some, that's okay. We're having a party either way. I don't give a shit if she gave him, 2 years. He's getting some jail time. That's for sure. Like, can't maintain long-term relationships. I don't think any of these people can. Anything that TV touches turns to shit. Same for Karen. I wear my clown suit and tell the judge she sucks. Stick up for Karen Reed's character. Very toxic. Very, very toxic. Or a poor internet connection that keeps dropping out. It's true, Alan Jackson has been married 5 times. I have no idea. That's a good question, though. I don't know how many times Alan Jackson has been married. That would be funny, though, if he has been. That would maybe he's a philanderer. Are you a philanderer, Jackson? Are you sure? Are you a serial husband? That's hilarious. A serial husband. That's a new one. They thought she would be acquitted in the first trial, which is why they did. Yeah, it's very clear in the documentary. They had no idea that, like, she would be going in for a second trial. Oopsie. Oopsie. Oh, no, they can't backtrack the conspiracy because exactly, the cult will turn on them, Brittany. They absolutely will. They probably want murder case out of the way before they charge her with the witness intimidation conspiracy. I agree with that. I know, right? Can you imagine if any of his former wives are clients? They probably are. That was the first I've heard about. I'll see if I can find out more about it. Yes, please. Somebody find out more about that and let me know. Also, if you're not in my Discord, we put the Discord link. It's actually in the comments of the last video. Potluck asks where it is, and I put it in there. And it's also in the description of 2 videos ago, but please join it because I will be doing a chat and a voice chat in the voice chat later on today. And I will be in and out of there on regular chat for all of you. They're going to have to use Aiden as a hostile witness. Like, and he does have to answer certain questions. I think they have to, you know? No, he didn't. Oh my God. And that tells you right there that the man just doesn't read all of the court documents. Like Grant posted on X that the trailer douche just described a jury member, identified them by their sex and race. Good fucking job, you absolute idiot. And this is how he's going to get thrown out. My mommy got selected for the jury. Tell your mom that's awesome. Do it. I feel like TV's going to pull some shenanigans on the witness stand in an attempt to cause a mistrial. Possibly. It'd be awfully stupid to. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think it will seriously hurt his own case if he pleads the fifth. And he knows that, especially with his supporters, which are getting lower and lower. They don't care about him. They care about Karen. He is a fucking bozo. What a moron. I guess it is better to be pissed on and pissed off. April Fools. Aw, man. Tell your mom I was excited. Obviously, I knew your mom wasn't on jury. I'm pretty sure Hank did mention the carpet in one of his motions to compel. Oh, that would be hilarious. I think you're right, though. I think he did mention something about like the temperature-controlled carpet, just to be snarky, but I'm pretty sure. Was it a motion for discovery? That would be amazing if it was. Oh, yeah, he did. That's why he asked for them, because I think he kind of had an inkling of what already was there, you know? Yeah, exactly. Most people like the internet, but our lives are not lived on it like his, you know? No, I don't think that picture of Karen and AJ was real. I know 100% fact it was real. I've been telling you guys this. Nobody listens. Like, I literally know for 100% fact that it was real. It was 1,000% real. Oh my God, Tricks. He would be Tricks. Good luck in your appointment. I know, right? His sex life is probably hard to like. I don't want to mental that. Cornflakes. Raisin Bran, soggy, wrinkled, and limp. I can't. You guys are killing me. I think it would be Tricks yogurt. Playing all them goddamn tricks. Yeah, bestiality boy already doxing people. You know, that's what he does. Jackson is Ashley Madison. Life cereal. Karen's life cereal. She's about to be doing life. I can't. Fruity Pebbles is a good one. Grape nuts. Oh my God, it's 12:54. All right. All right. Let me just make sure. I made sure I read all the donations for today. I don't want to miss anybody. I really appreciate you guys. Let's see. I think I read them all. You guys are so funny. Booberry, that's a good one. All right, I just wanted to make sure I read them all so I could say thank you to everybody because I appreciate all you guys always. That was all the PayPals. Let me just make sure I check Venmo. I think I did, but I just want to make sure. Sure. Yep. Okay. All right. Perfect. Thank you guys so much for hanging around for today and Count Druncula. I freaking love you, Jack. I am going to hop on my Discord after I eat, but I'm also going to hop back on here before the end of the court day because we want to see if anything happens, right? So I'm going to keep an eye on it, you know, for the rest of the day. I'm going to hop on Discord in the meantime. So remember, you can get the Discord link in my last video in the comments under Potluck's comment. I posted it there. Also, it should be in the description 2 videos ago, 2 live streams ago, not yesterday, but the one before that. And of course, as always, if I get any donations when I'm not live streaming, I will read them later on when I come back on. If you're on my replay crew, we love you guys just as much. You guys are just as important. And of course, if any donations come in there, I will also read those when I am live again after. If you can like and subscribe, I would really appreciate that. It would really help our small channel grow. And if you can, a donation always helps. Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal, it's on the screen. And there's a ticker at the bottom that scrolls by that you can always refer to if you need the information as well. I love all your stinking faces. I hope to see some of you in my Discord. I'll be there in a few minutes. So hugs, everybody. Oh, thank you, Heartstar. And enjoy my outro because I'm super proud of my intro and outro that I made myself. That was my first and second attempt at ever editing videos. And I think I did a pretty good job. So I love your stinking faces. And I will be back a little bit later on, but I'll also be in Discord in the meantime. So love you guys. You guys always make my day. I will see you soon.